Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the New African Black Panther Party, NABPP North. All power to the people.
I'll be having conversation with people, and they'll be like, so what do we do? What is our option? How do we change our material conditions? How do we change the reality around us? I mean, you can't do that. This is from our food program. I mean, so that's why I'm starting off like this, to show everybody like the things that you could do in the community. As Panthers, we come together in North to get this food to go out and give to the families that are starving. We all know, if we live in these communities, we know how hard times are. We're all going through it. We eat the same food too. We take the food in our home and we put them in our bellies. This is our during the school year, all year round. We don't have enough money to go build a school to be able to bring in all these children and stuff. We don't have all of that. But we can create an after-school program. And this is one of the ways we bring the kids in with the after-school program so they could come in for us to give them that knowledge, to teach them, and try to help guide them through this reality, through this world. Hey, you say they teach you about 9/11 in school?
Yeah.
What they teach you about 9/11? Why did the plane hit the buildings? You got to say it loud enough so I can hear you.
The Muslim airjacked the plane and then they crashed shit into the Twin Towers.
That's what they taught you, that the Muslims hijacked the plane?
They didn't talk.
That's okay. That's okay. Relax.
The plane crashed into the Twin Towers.
But why did they crash into the Twin Towers? They didn't. Anybody? Hey, what you were saying, Major?
I also know that they crashed into the woods.
Hold up. Let Major speak. What'd you say, Major?
My teacher told me that there was hijackers on a plane, and then when they crashed it, left the plane, and there was more hijackers on the other plane, and they crashed into that. That's what Towers again.
But why did they crash into the Twin Towers?
Because they wanted to go to New York.
So they crashed into the Twin Towers to go to New York. They died to go to New York.
They wanted to go. The hijackers wanted to go to New York, but then they crashed into the Twin Towers.
Oh, they wanted to go land in New York, but they crashed in the Twin Towers. So anybody else got saying to add? Archie, you got saying to add?
I know.
What you want to add?
That the other planes got airjacked and then they crashed into different places.
That's it?
Yeah.
So nobody can tell me why the planes crashed? Why the planes did that? Nobody can tell me? But don't you think the school should tell you why?
Yes. Yeah.
So like, if the school not telling you why, what does that mean?
They keep it secret.
Wow.
It's gatekeeping.
Whoa, where you get gatekeeping from, bro?
I said gates.
But where you learn that at?
TikTok. It's
You say me? you
said
burnt.
TikTok.
You burnt out, yo. You burnt out. Nah, but the reason why they crashed into the into the Twin Towers is because the American government, America was going to their country, taking their natural resources, stealing their stuff, killing their people. So they got mad. They stole a plane and they came and crashed it on the World Trade Center to get back at America. That's why they did it.
So it wasn't 2 planes then?
No, it wasn't one plane. I think it was 2 or 3. Was it? I think it was one. Was no? I think there was one in DC and there was one in Philly or something like that.
So
That did.
Two inside the Twin
Yeah, huh?
So I basically got it right then.
There was
What
two
did-
inside Twin Towers, and then another one tried to crash into the place that Trump lives in.
The Trump Tower? There ain't no plane try to go to the Trump Tower. The White House?
The White House.
Did the plane try to go to the White House?
No, the Pentagon. I think that's
The plane, one went to the Pentagon. But
Something like that.
But these people be lying. The media be lying. The politicians be lying. So you never know what's true. But why they really did it, they said because America was going over to their countries and they were killing their people. They were taking their resources and they were putting military bases in their country. So that's why they did it. I mean, that's why they went over there and did it and stuff. They call that blowback. Like when you go to another country and you do stuff to them and then they come back over here and do something, like they call that blowback.
it's like get back.
Yeah, it's like get back.
They should have did more.
So imagine another country.
You said they should have did more?
They should have nuked them.
Then we gonna die. If they nuke us, we gonna die. I don't wanna die.
What if we wasn't alive at that time?
But we gonna continue this later, y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all. We gonna continue later. This is our summer basketball camp. It's going on right now. Every day from 9 to 1. We have this basketball camp that that the kids come out. Yo, it's all about organizing and finding ways to bring people out, bring the children out to be able to organize them. I mean, when you doing these things to bring the children in, to bring the community in, yo, you gotta be serious. You can't be playing around with this. Yo, like when the kids come here at the end of the summer, they're stronger, they're faster, they're quicker, and they know more about the game, about the sport than they did before. You know, we watch their minds develop every day while we're talking about Pantherism. What do we do? What are the solutions? Yo, there's solutions here. I mean, the solutions is organizing our own community, creating an economic base where we can be able to feed ourselves, take care of ourselves without having to bow down to somebody else, without having to beg somebody else for our humanity. Yo, I refuse to go beg anybody to give me humanity. I will take my humanity by force. I understand I am not free. We understand we are not free as Panthers. There's no doubt in our mind if we are free or not. And you cannot hold anybody that's under oppression, that's under neocolonialism, responsible for how their life turned out, because they control no institution. I mean, I often hear people say, like, the drug dealers, the worst thing in our community is drug dealers, because they're stupid. They're ignorant. They haven't educated themselves to understand the world around them. So they just open their mouth and regurgitate whatever they heard somebody else say. You're a fool if you believe anything out here is your fault or our fault. Seriously. And I'm telling you, I work with the community all day and all night. And I know how ignorant the community can be. But I don't blame the people for the conditions they find themselves in. They have nothing to do with how anything is done materially in this world. They're just bystanders. The people that I hold accountable is those that know, the intellectuals. That's supposed to know better, but continue to usher our people into institutions of white supremacy, of imperialism, that will continue to exploit us. Tell our people to go vote. What are you voting for? I mean, who are you voting for? Who do they serve? They don't serve the people. They won't serve the people, or they won't survive in those institutions.
Get your phone. It's my song.
What's your son?
Yo, for playing, huh?
Get some from. Get some. Let me see. Hold it out, Bobby. Mira. Hold it out. Let me see. Yeah. Hold up. You got it? You like it? There we go. There we go.
Wait, take you.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Prania.
What position you play?
Like this.
Oh, pitcher. You're the pitcher. You're a pitcher. Your children out here?
No. I'm
No.
just watching.
Oh, you just watching? You
Yeah.
just watching too?
I like
My name Africa.
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 Like the country.
Yeah, the continent. Continent.
Like
Yeah, continent. Hold up.
happy.
Huh?
Happy.
Yeah. I'll come every year. I'll bring more stuff.
Because there are a lot of times
I'll come. I'll bring everything every year. Yeah, we just started. We've come in with the organization. The organization,
New African Black Panther
Party. So the Black Panther Party. So look, no politician, no rich person will take care of us. The only people that are going to take care of us is us. If we understand, if we understand that all we need to do is take care of each other, we're going to be good. Yeah, so you notice how all the companies, all the stores is owned by the gringos, Canada, Switzerland. We need to own it. We need to own everything so soon. You need to own stuff in Susua. You need to own Bailey's. You need to own Roomba. Yeah, we need to own all of that shit. Not nobody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But that's why I'm here. Everything we do is free. Everything is free. You don't pay. Yeah, you don't pay for nothing. I mean, this is my guy here. This is my guy, Subi. You know Subi? Yeah, this is my guy. He helped me out down here. I've been with this company for about 7 years, but it's been here since 1969. I'm the leader of the company. I'm the leader now of the organization. Yeah. So we come down. He's gonna be down here working down here in the organization for me. Yeah, he's gonna be here working here.
Also, do you visit Puerto Plata?
Yeah, I work for the plot everywhere. I go everywhere. I stayed in.
I'm from Puerto Plata. I'm from the shore to
So you want to help me do this in Puerto Plata? I'm about to cut off the camera and I'm about to take your number. We're going to do the same thing. You know, the person that run the baseball, he helping me too.
I live next to a baseball.
Man, what's your name, man? Tell them your name, man.
My name is Brian. I'm teacher of natural science.
Natural science?
Natural science.
Oh, my God. I'm hitting a home run everywhere I go, man. Bobby, mira. Good? You good? There we go. Biology? My God.
Africa, you mute.
Yo, nobody else told me that, Muhammad. Hey, good looking, Muhammad. How you know? You saw me talking, Muhammad?
Yep.
Why you don't have your video on? I can't even see you. Yeah. Got that head. Nah, this one of the Panther cuz from our program, our after-school program. I mean, thank you for telling me to put my audio on. But welcome to All Popular People on Grown Folks Talk and Express Yourself. Yo, we come here to try to find people that are interested in changing the conditions in our community. I mean, and always, the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. And that's exactly what Fred Hampton is going to tell you when I put it on. I'm going to put the video on. Fred Hampton going to talk, and we're going to go straight into the Philadelphia Negro by W.E.B. Du Bois. I mean, I know this is going to be your first time ever listening to anything from W.E.B. Du Bois, Muhammad. So try to pay attention and see what he's talking about. You know, he wrote this in 1896. And he was basically telling how black people were living and how their life was back then in 1896. We're in 2025. This is all the way in 1896. I want you to pay attention and see if you see anything that's similar to today. I'm about to go right into it.
Talking about is there has to be an educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, we're so popular that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run out an ideology for the party.
You know who that is, Muhammad? You know who that is talking?
I don't know, like, his name is Fred something.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
Fred Hampton. I'm going to start that over from the beginning. But he's saying, in able to do anything, you have to know what you're talking about. You got to be educated. You feel me? I'm about to bring it back. He got a little accent. But I'm about to bring it back.
That is, there has to be an educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, we're so popular that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run out an ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You get what I'm saying? They know why, because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionless movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more, and before you know it, they'll be chapters, and before you know it, we have Negro imperialism.
All power to the people.
What did you say at the end there? Before you know it, what?
He said at the end, and if you don't pay attention, we're gonna have Negro, black imperialist. Because if our struggle, yes, our fight is against imperialism, and then you're not educating people to understand what capitalism is, understand all what these institutions are, what these philosophies are, and if you don't teach them, at the end, you're just gonna produce a black imperialist. So you're really not changing nothing. Because keeping it a buck, most of the stuff that we learn, we follow under Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton came up with the concept of the Rainbow Coalition, going around to organize the gang members to get them to have them politically aware, for them to be able to fight the struggle that we needed to fight. It's like once I say one thing, another door open up for me that I want to say something else, because I want to keep this brief and move on. But me just saying that, if you study Marx, Lenin, they didn't believe that the lumpen proletariat, like the people on the bottom, I'm talking about all the way on the bottom, like the slaves, the people that sleeping on the streets, that you could do anything to organize those people, to revolutionize those people. People like Marx thought those people were a hopeless case, that there was nothing you could do with them. It was until Mao. Mao was the one that said you could organize these people. You could go into the villages, you could organize these people, and you could use these people to try to change the conditions outside. Fred Hampton goes along that line. I mean, go get the gangbangers. Go organize the gangbangers. Go organize the homeless people, the people on the streets, the people that are suffering from this society, that this society has casted away. Organize them and teach them how to liberate themselves. He said, you have a better chance of organizing those people than the people that work inside of the system, because they already get the benefits of the system. So it's really hard to really talk to those people. I mean, but yeah, so we really follow the teachings of Fred Hampton. Although we pick, you could call it cherry picking, we pick from everybody. I'm about to go into Du Bois. Like, this book and this study disgusts me, the way he talk about poor people. But I cherry pick even from him, from his studies, from his lessons on what we implement with what we're doing today to make us stronger, to make us better. So let's listen to Du Bois. I think this is chapter 9, section something, of the Philadelphia Negro.
The Philadelphia Negro, chapter 9, section 23. The 7th Ward has 13 small Negro grocery stores. They are mostly new ventures, 8 being less than a year old, 4 1 to 5 years old, and 1 15 years old. 2 are cooperative enterprises but have had no great success. All of these stores, with 2 or 3 exceptions, are really experiment. 13 small Negro.
My bad. I wanted to bring that back right there. When we say cooperatives, people, these are like something new. The first time they're hearing cooperative in a capitalist system. But this is the 1800s. And he says out of those businesses, those 13 businesses that were in the community, and he's talking about black businesses, 2 of them were cooperatives. Cooperative, which means people come together in the community to create these enterprises, to create these businesses in the community. Not only does it serve the community, but it also serves those people that came together to put the company in place. But what I want to say is, we don't believe a few people, like 1, 2, 3 people, should come together and put a cooperative together for, in the community. We believe the cooperative, whatever industry that is put in that community, whoever in that community wants to be part of it should be part of it. You don't force nobody. You're not making nobody to do anything. But you have to get the people to understand, if you invest in that home that you have, if you have your money in it and you own that home, your part ownership in it, no corporation is going to come down and take your home from you. Because that's gentrification. You see, like, people think right now, people just, like, we got this microwave society. People think the things we're going through, the gentrification, the doubling of rents, people think all this stuff are new. These are new phenomena. These are not new phenomena. They've been going back hundreds of years. A couple of hundreds of years ago, they'll just flood the community out. They'll come in and burn everything down, and people will be running, throw everybody out of there, and then the corporations come in and take over the community. We're in 2025. They just double your rents. And the politicians that are in place that's supposed to hold these people accountable, they don't. When you take these issues to these politicians, they ignore them. Because why? They're in business with the slumlords. And this is how business works. They must. It doesn't matter if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter what you are. Depending on wherever you are that they're gentrifying, you will be removed. If you're poor and you're white, you're getting removed too. Go to Appalachia, go to Virginia, go to all these places where they done destroyed the entire community. And you see they're doing the same thing to them. That's why we say we follow the teachings of Fred Hampton, because Fred Hampton said the only way you defeat these people is with the Rainbow Coalition, where we are all fighting together. It's a class struggle, God damn it. That's what he said. Yo, we in Newark, New Jersey. It used to be Chocolate City. Newark, New Jersey is not majority black people no more. Black people are not the majority. So if you out here saying like you only gonna fight only black people, which makes you a nationalist, it makes you a black nationalist. If you're only gonna struggle for black people, yo, it ain't even that many black people around no more. They're removing them from the community. Like, and those strategies have proven not to work. The only strategy that defeats imperialism is everybody, the people in that space, in that community, organizing, coming together to liberate themselves. And we're going to get into that too. Because look, like, people think this stuff is like difficult. You got to go get guns, weapons, airplanes. Oh, if you turn away from these institutions and create your own institutions, their institutions will wither and die. Without the people, the living, breathing human beings, without us, every system that they have will die. So the police come from us. The police are our children. The people in the military are our children. The people running for political office are our children. All these things is us. See, once I said, when I open one door, I think of something else, because they're coming up with AI now. So all of us, it don't matter what you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, they're going to get rid of you too. They're coming in with AI, with computers, with robots. Very soon, our whole life, the way we thought life is supposed to be, will be dramatically changed. Yo, if I keep talking, we ain't going to get to the end of this right here, because we got a lot to talk about. Let me let Du Bois get his thing on, and I'm going to come back.
Operative enterprises, but have had no great success. All of these stores, with 2 or 3 exceptions, are really experiments, and most of them will soon go to the wall and their places be taken by others. The 6 smaller shops represent investments of $25 to $50. 2 have $50 and $100 invested. 3 between $100 and $200. 1 from $500 to $1,000. The ambition of the middle class of Negroes lies in this direction, and their endeavors are laudable. In another age of industrial development, they would have already constituted themselves a growing class of small tradesmen. But today, the department store and stock company make the competition too great for people with so little commercial training and instinct. Nevertheless, the number of Negro groceries will undoubtedly grow considerably in the next decade. Next come 14 cigar stores, representing a total investment.
I got to stop it, because, like, that's big right there. You know, we talk about the Walmarts coming in and displacing the mom and pop stores. Like I said, this is 1896, and he's saying the same thing. When they open up these stores in the community, the big stores come in. Like, these people in the community don't have the training. I mean, he's going to go more into that. Don't have the training, don't have all the stuff that these big companies come in. When the big company come in, they get rid of the little company. Big bank take little bank. It's as old as time. I mean, and we're going through the same issues now. So instead of letting somebody, the Walmart people, the whole family come in here and get that Walmart, and why are we not owning the Walmarts? Why are we not owning the Home Depot? Why haven't we come together collectively to put these institutions in the community that serve all of us? Not somebody that live where, we don't even know where these people live at, that don't work, that don't do nothing. They own everything in our communities, and we just walk around working for them, working 2, 3 jobs. So you work for them at Walmart, buy you a little Civic. Now you're going to use your little Civic to go out and go do Uber, Lyft, or whatever to try to make enough money for you to survive. But all of it is just weird. But the problem is these strategies are not new. It's just they're not taught in school. We don't learn none of this. We don't know this. All we are trained to serve empire, to serve the people that's ruling, that have the money, the oligarchs.
Of $1,000 to $1,500, mostly in sums of $25, $50, and $100. These stores have been established as follows: 1 year or less, 6; 2 years, 4; 3 to 16 years, 4. They sell cigars and tobacco and daily papers. Some also rent bicycles or have a bootblacking stand or pool room attached. One of the proprietors conducts, beside his cigar store, 3 barber shops and a restaurant, and employs 20 people. Some of these stores are finely equipped. This business is new for Negroes and growing. A few women have ventured into it, and thus, in some cases, it furnishes a side of occupation for wives. There are 4 candy and notion shops established respectively 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 3 years, and each representing an investment of $10 to $100. They are in most cases in the hands of women and do a small business. There are also numberless places for selling fuel of all kinds, of which about 13 rise to the dignity of shops. They represent small investments. 3 retail liquor shops and 1 bottling establishment are conducted by colored people, representing considerable investments. 2 of the salons are old and well conducted and financially successful. The other salons and bottling establishments are not very successful. 4 large employment agencies and some smaller ones are situated in the ward. They conduct lodging houses and, in some cases, boarding houses in connection. 1 is 16 years old. All hire clerks. Their business is to act as agents for persons desiring servants and to guide unemployed persons to situations. For this, they charge a percentage or a fixed sum out of the wages. They also often serve as homes for unemployed servants, giving them board and lodging, sometimes on credit. Their work is thus useful and lucrative when properly conducted, as in 2 or 3 establishments. In 1 or 2 others, however, there is some suspicion of unfair dealing. Servants are attracted from the South by catchy advertisements and personal letters, only to find themselves eventually penniless and out of work in a large city. Questionable acquaintanceships are also made at the agencies at times, which lead to ruin. These agencies need strict regulation. There are 4 undertaking establishments, 2 of which are conducted by women. They represent investments of $1,000 to $10,000, and 2 of them do a business which probably aggregates $8,000 or more annually in each case. They are all old establishments, 6 to 30 years, and in no branch of business, save one, has the Negro evinced so much push, taste, and enterprise. 2 of the establishments will, in equipment, compare favorably with the white businesses in the city. Indeed, in fair competition, they have gained a great bulk of Negro and some white patronage from white competitors. 3 bakeries, established 2 and 3 years respectively, are having moderate success. 6 printing offices established, 1 6 months, the others 4 to 7 years, do a job work on small presses. 2 publish weekly papers. These shops are fairly successful and get considerable work from the colored people. 1 dressmaker has a shop with $150 invested. Another runs a dressmaking school. 4 upholsterers have shops, old and well established, and all doing good business. In 2 cases, the business amounts to $2,000 to $5,000 a year. 1 sells antique furniture also. There are a large number of caterers in the ward, 83 in all. Most of these, however, do a small business and in some cases have other work, also for at least a part of the year. Of the principal caterers, there are about 10, of whom the doyen was the late Andrew F. Stevens. These 10 caterers do a large business, amounting in some cases probably $3,000 to $5,000 a year. They have a small cooperative store in 13th Street with a considerable stock of dishes and such things as olives, pickles, etc. This is conducted by a manager and has 100 or more members. There is also a caterers association, which is really a trades union. Its club room serves as a clearinghouse for business and employment of waiters. This has been running 10 years. The catering business represents many interesting faces to the economists and sociologists. Undoubtedly, the preeminence of Negroes in this business has declined since the Augustines, Jones, and Dorsey passed. Negro caterers are still prominent, but they do not by any means dominate the field, as then. The chief reason for this is the change that has come over American fashionable society in the last 25 years and the application of large capital to the catering business. Philadelphia society is no longer a local affair, but receives its cue as to propriety and fashion from New York, London, and Paris. Consequently, the local caterers can no longer dictate fashion for any single American city. More than this, demands have so risen with increasing wealth that catering establishments like Delmonico's, which would keep in the front rank, represent a large investment of capital, investments far beyond the power of the local Negro caterers of Philadelphia. Thus, we find a large business built up by talent and tact, meeting with changed social conditions. The business must therefore change too. It is the old development from the small to the large industry, from the house industry to the concentrated industry, from the private dining room to the palatial hotel. If the Negro caterers of Philadelphia had been white, some of them would have been put in charge of a large hotel or would have become co-partners in some large restaurant business for which capitalists furnished the funds.
And I want y'all to listen to that too, to catch that. If they had been white. Remember, like Du Bois came up with the color line. He said it's the problem at that time was the color line. Everything is racial. Everything is racial. This was before really Marxism and really started to influence what was going on in the United States. Du Bois wasn't a Marxist. If you hear him, you can tell he's an institutionalist. He believed if black people did what they wanted, what they were supposed to do, everybody, if they did what they're supposed to do, everything's going to be okay. He did not break it down to it's a class struggle. For him, by and large, it was the color line. I mean, and that's the problem that we're still dealing with today. When you hear black intellectuals, all these people that are supposed to be intellectuals, they keep telling us about assimilating into this imperialist system to exploit everybody else. The problem, like I openly disagree with him. I disagree with the way he taught back then in 1896. I have no doubt if he was alive today in 2025, he would have a problem with what he's saying now. Because if you look back, it hasn't been the color line. The problem, it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. When imperialists are ready to exploit the people, it doesn't matter who you are. They're gonna come get you too. And doing all of that, blending in, assimilating in, being part of the system has done nothing to change the condition of black people or poor people, or people that were at the bottom. They still have no power. We still don't control anything in this society. We can't hold none of the politicians accountable. We can't hold the corporations accountable. So going into this system and assimilating into this system will do nothing to change the material conditions of the people outside, because it's a class struggle. And this system is here to maintain the status quo, to maintain power in the hands of those who have power. They created this system. They created a system where you have to have money for you to be able to win elections. They created a system where you have to go to them to get the money. They own the FBI, they own the CIA, they own the police. Yo, you own nothing. So you go inside their system, you're just another screw in a big machine. And that's what I've learned from reading, from listening to Du Bois. I've learned that mistake, not to repeat that mistake. So you're not going to hear me going outside telling black people, yeah, man, it's because we black. That's why all of this is going on. It's because we black. Yo, our schools is ran by somebody that's brown. I guess that's what you would call him. I think his family's from Cuba. He's supposed to be Hispanic, Spanish, whatever. However he would want to qualify himself. But then the mayor is black. The council people are black. Everything, police, the sheriff department, everything is black. And we still catching hell. We still catching hell. Nothing has changed outside. So it means that stuff don't work. That color line, black, 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 that don't work. It got to be something else. You got to try something new.
For such business cooperation, however, the time was not right, and perhaps only a few of the best Negro caterers would have been capable of entering into it with success. As it was, the change in fashion and mode of business changed the methods of the Negro caterers and their clientele. They began to serve the middle class instead of the rich and exclusive. Their prices had to become more reasonable, and their efforts to excel had consequently fewer incentives. Moreover, they now came into sharp competition with the class of small white caterers, who, if they were worse cooks, were better trained in the tricks of the trade. Then, too, with this new and large clientele, that personal relationship between the caterer and those served was broken up, and a larger place for color prejudice was made. It is thus plain that a curious economic revolution in one industry has gone on during 29 years, not unaccompanied by grave social problems. In this case, the Negro has emerged in better condition and has shown more capacity for hand-to-hand economic encounter than, for instance, in the barbering business. Yet he has not emerged unscathed. In every such battle, when the Negro is fighting for an economic advantage, there is ever a widespread feeling among all his neighbors that it is inexpedient to allow this class to become wealthy or even well-to-do. Consequently, the battle always becomes an Athanasius contra mundum, where almost unconsciously the whole continence in aid of the community battle always becomes an Athanasius.
All right, we're going to look that up real quick. I was supposed to look it up real quick. But a general secretary, do you know what that means already? I heard you. Athanasiu. Yeah, when you're reading, I don't know if you're still here, Muhammad, but if you're reading and you come across a word, if you read, you come across a word that you don't know, the first thing you do is go look it up. Anybody know what it means before I say it?
What's the word you trying to say?
Man, you don't know either. Shut up. It's right here. It's on the screen.
No.
Courageous stands against wildly influential hearsay. Like you're courageous, and you could stand against whatever people are saying, whatever is being said. That's what it says right here. The phrase highlight how he, at times, was a lone defender of the Nicene Creed doctrine that son. It was who was he? Of Alexandria, courageous. He was somebody from Alexandria, but it means to be courageous when people are despite what people are saying. When everybody's against you, you're still courageous. So I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Consequently, the battle always becomes an Athanasius contra mundum, where almost unconsciously the whole continence in aid of the community is thrown against the Negro. The 3 Negro cemetery companies of the city have their headquarters in the 7th Ward.
All right, so like, let me see. What is he trying to say there? Is he saying that because they're not courageous? Because what he's saying is everything is always thrown back at black people. Like, it's their responsibility to solve these issues. I got to look deeper into that. I mean, because it is their problem. They have to solve these issues, but they haven't been courageous enough. And I'm talking about the black people in those communities that had the ability, to build the institutions. Because we're listening to all the businesses. He's explaining all the businesses in the community and who had those businesses, how well those businesses did. But what those people that own those businesses, who were often free slaves that were mulattoes, that were half black, half white, and they learned everything that they learned from their masters because they were often siblings of the masters. The masters raped the slave woman, and they had these kids. And some of them didn't just throw these kids away. Most of them did, but some of them gave them power and elevated them above the other black people in the community. So it was their responsibility as black people for them to build these schools, these institutions in the community to liberate their people. And he's saying, from what I gather, he's saying it's always put up on them and not the government and not the state. That it is, but it is up to them. It is their duty. They have to do this. But once you're coming in from an assimilationist perspective, you don't see it that way. You see it as the government. We must demand that the government, the imperialist government that's in place, that just had people, human beings as slaves, we should go to these people to ask them to put things in place to help the people that they're exploiting. It makes no sense. There's no logic to it. You see, I would let that fly in 1896. I would say, all right, maybe you don't get it. 1896, all right, maybe you don't understand. I'll let that fly. But in 2025, come on, nobody should be thinking the government is going to do anything. The evidence, it's too much evidence. It's too much evidence around to see that the government will fail us every single time, will throw us to the imperialists, to the corporations.
They arose from the curious prejudice of the whites against allowing Negroes to be buried near their dead. The companies hold valuable property and are fairly well conducted. There are several expressmen in the ward.
And I need, it's a few people here. I need y'all to be listening to chime in too, to say some stuff, because I may be wrong in my analysis sometime. So don't let me be the only one talking and everybody just tune out. Like, the whole purpose we here is to learn something. I mean, because right after we finish listening to this, we're going to come into modern times and see how all these things play out in real time now. So please pay attention.
Owning their own outfits. One has been established 25 years. He has 3 or 4 wagons and hires 4 or 5 men regularly. There was in 1896 a hardware and furniture business 47 years old on South Street, but the proprietor, Robert Adger, has since died. There are several bicycle shops, a flourishing milk, butter, and egg store, a China repairing shop of long standing, a hair goods store, a rubber goods repairing shop, 17 years old, a second-hand stove store, and 2 patent medicine shops. To test the accuracy of these statistics and to note changes, a second visit was made in this ward in 1897 with this result. Such small businesses represent the efforts of a class of poor people to save capital. They are all alike hindered by 3 great drawbacks. First,
let me see, restaurants, barbershop. Okay, first of all, this is a Negro business establishment, 7th Ward, 1896, 1897. On this side is how much they had grown by 1897, 1896, 1897. Was it cigar stores went down?
Chairman, I took a look at Anathasia's Contra. Let me know when you want me to hop in with a description for it.
Hop in. Go ahead.
All So Anastasius, he was a like a priest, a Christian priest back, and we're talking. He lived from 296 to 373 CE. So that's after Christ. Like around the year 300, he was born, and he lived to be 80 years old. But he was trying to spread Christianity in what was still the Roman Empire. And if you know Christian history, the Romans are the ones who crucified Jesus. So they weren't Christian, but eventually the Roman Empire, as it fell, Christianity took over. We ended up with the Holy Roman Empire, which was very involved with the papacy, the Pope. The Pope for 1,000 years was one of the most powerful figures in the entire world because Christianity became like the main religion of the Western world, not the whole world, but of the Western world, which was advancing faster than a lot of the world. So Athanasius, so I'm just learning who this is, so I might pronounce it wrong.
That's cool.
He was one of the first people pushing hard in these places for Christianity, which meant he was an enemy of most people. He was pissing off Roman emperors. He was pissing off people who had their own beliefs, but he stood firm in his convictions. And so that's where you get the core of Anastasius Contra is being courageous in your lonely defiance. So that describes the Panther movement, because y'all are a small minority, even amongst your own black community. You guys are a minority, but you're standing firm courageously in your belief in combating a government entity that dominates the whole world today. All power to the people.
Hold up. Nah, seriously, and that's deep on so many levels. When I think of stuff like that, I love Game of Thrones. That was my issue when Game of Thrones was out. I think about when Jon Snow was standing there with the sword, and it was coming, all the horses, all the soldiers, everybody was coming after him, and he was standing there with the sword like, you know what, man, I'm about to die, but I'm gonna go out like a G. I'm gonna stand and hold my ground. That's the first thing that come to my mind. But while we reading this, and I'm listening to you explain who that is, because I Googled it, like what I was thinking in my mind was, all of this explain who Du Bois was. Because remember, the person that Du Bois was, he went to Germany to school. Look at the references, look at the people that he's using to make his point. What slave, what person that's living out there, what runaway slave or any person out there at that time in 1896 would even know who the hell this is? So who is he?
I want to point out Germany is part of what used to be the Holy Roman Empire. Same land, right? So when the Holy Roman Empire was giving up territory on their way out, part of that land became Germany, which is probably why Du Bois is using that phrase. That's where he's picking it up from. But I want to point out, how many Negroes in 1896 Philadelphia do you think had any idea what that meant? There was a part a couple weeks ago in the educational program, we were reading Huey P. Newton, and it was talking about how in order to be a true revolutionary, you got to meet your audience on their level of consciousness in order to elevate it. But if you're talking about these complex phrases, we didn't know what that means. We're educated in the modern world. Chairman literally tried to look it up and struggled to communicate what that meant. So do you think the 1896 Philadelphia Negro heard that and was inspired to go courageously stand? Oh, they went over their head, and it's not their fault, and it's not Du Bois's fault. He was trying, but we have better tools to understand and teach today. We got to use them to teach ourselves and teach each other.
All power to the people. And so who was he speaking to? Because most of the time, we have conversations, we talk as Panthers, like how do we communicate to the people? You have to meet the people where they're at. You can't talk over their heads. People like, why do you use profanity? They use profanity in the hood. There's nobody in the hood that don't know how to use profanity or talk this way better than anybody else that live in the suburb or that has money. Like, you hear somebody curse, you be fascinated. It's an art. I mean, so when you're talking, when you're dealing with people in the hood, sometimes you got to use the words that they use, the phrases that they use. And there's no problem with that. I mean, you can't be above the people. You got to be with them. I mean, and it's going back to what, when we're saying the people that's always been in front, like saying they're the leaders of the community, they're the leaders of the people. Even today, these people are not from these communities. They don't live in these communities. Like to them, when people hear about gentrification, they just think people are poor. They cannot afford their home. You double their rents. I mean, you make sure the companies don't pay them enough to survive. This is systemic, strategic thing that you're doing to try to target and oppress people. I mean, that's worse than any drug dealer on the street. Drug dealers on the street don't have the ability to control the entire community, to control the school system, to control economics, to control all the media. I mean, let me hurry up and finish with Du Bois this week.
The Negro never was trained for business and can't get no training now. It is very seldom that a Negro boy or girl can on any terms get a position in a store or other business establishment where he can learn the technique of the work or general business methods. Second, Negro merchants are so rare that...
No, I want you to remember that too. Remember what he's saying about the training. Like, remember, he's talking about the Negro. But we here in 2025 with the education system, with the training. How does that play a role today? We're going to get to all of that. I'm telling you, you're going to be fascinated. You want to say something, Megabyte?
Slipped my mind, man. Thanks,
That's
though.
okay. Yeah, I saw you itching back there, but that's okay. If you remember, chime in. And everybody else, this is for all of us, man. If you have something to say, please say it, because I'm coming to you in a second. Now, please say it, because we're going to cut this out and put it out. The more of us sit down and have these conversations on how to change the conditions in our community, the quicker we're going to get to changing things. Like, say something, we cut it, we clip it, you share it, you let your friends see it, you bring your friends in, bring your family in. We need to have these conversations because we believe in intercommunalism. I'm in Newark, New Jersey. Wherever you're at, we can start these programs wherever you're at because that's how we're going to work from community to community. If people are starving where you at, people don't have no clothes, no shoes, they're hungry, we could do this in all our communities. And this is how we build the bonds. Go ahead, Megabyte.
The comment you were talking about how, like, why are you people swearing and stuff? And it's because the people on the streets are out there swearing. You guys are going to notice, I grew up, I'm a white suburban hippie kid, right? But you're going to notice when I'm going to hang out with you. I'm autistic. I don't know if you guys know a lot about what that means, but in order to fit in socially, you mask, and you mask a lot of times by mirroring. You pick up the mannerisms of the people you're talking to and people you're spending time with. So as I talk to you folks, you're going to hear me start talking like you. And it's not to co-opt your culture. It's brotherhood, and it's an expression of trying to fit in with you. But you're going to hear me pick up your slang. You're going to hear me pick up your cadences. You're going to hear me do all that. But you got to connect with people where they're at. Make them feel like you're one of them. You can't come in above people and act like I'm better than you because I know more than you and I this, that, the other. Like people don't like that. They like being raised up together by people next to them, not have people above them tell them what's up. That doesn't work. It never has.
All power to the people. And what you're saying, you start off by saying comrade. Once you become a comrade and we're fighting along the same issues, we're fighting for the same issues, we're going to start talking the same. We're going to be using the same phrases. Our mannerism is going to be the same. The General Secretary is going back to school for her master's, and she's doing a program, and I was listening. I heard it from the side, and they was talking about how when you're around people, you start to pick up their mannerism, everything that you just said. Like, they were telling her that in her in the class that she's taking. I mean, so like that mirroring, everything that you just said, they was talking about that in her class this week. Cause like she be playing she be going to school on the computer, and I could hear it from the side. But that's exactly what happened. And you could tell Du Bois was a transplant because they brought him in. They brought him in for him to come into Philadelphia. And I'm the first episode I explained how he was dressed with a suit on, with a top hat, and he had the cane on. Just imagine those poor people, those runaway slaves that saw him and how he was moving through the community. Like he was not approachable. I mean, they looked at them as something else. That's when I move in the community. That's not how I move. I dress how the people dress. I look how the people look. I talk how they talk. I mean, but let's finish this out real quick.
It is natural for customers, both white and colored, to take it for granted that their business is poorly conducted without giving it a trial. Third, the Negroes are unused to cooperation with their own people, and the process of learning it is long and tedious. Hitherto, their economic activities have been directed almost
Hitherto, yeah, what you call it, the history of the world. The history, that's what he's saying. He's about to say the history of the world is that of basically class struggle. Hey, yo, that's exact. Yo, that's crazy. Hey, yo, he doesn't. This entire book so far has been about racism, has been about the color line. But you can hear it. You can hear it in the message because the evidence is there. He's about to say it. The reason why all these things are the same is because through the history of the world, those who have the money control everything. He said it in 1897, even though this whole book is not about that. Yo, I'm about to play it right now.
Hitherto, their economic activities have been directed almost entirely to the satisfaction of wants of the upper classes of white people, and two, of personal and household wants. They are just beginning to realize that within their own group, there is a vast field for development in economic activity.
There's like he said it. He said it's always been, and he's saying right because like at that time during slavery time, of course the white people are gonna be in control of everything. But even if you left from slavery time and you go all the way back to Africa, when Africa was leading in everything, in ingenuity, like everything, you will see that the kings and queens, the rich people, controlled everybody else. They exploited the masses of the people. It has always been a class struggle. Those that has always exploited the masses of the people. Yo, like Malcolm said, I'm a field Negro. We are field Negroes. I am a field Negro. I am with the people on the field. I am no better than the people in the field. It doesn't matter how many degrees I have. I understand what class I fall under. And those degrees are supposed to help my class, my people, try to overthrow this system that has been oppressing us for thousands of years. You see, that's where we are at as Panthers. And if you are not there, then when you see somebody run up, you see a Mandani, you run around here talking about I'm going to campaign for a Mandani. Instead of you going to go feed the people, going to house the people, you're using your energy to go campaign for a Mandani, to go into the system and continue the exploitation of the masses. Yo, this stuff is really easy. Once you understand the politics, yo, everything makes sense to you. You understand why you can't support these politicians. You understand why starting your own political party will do nothing to change the standing social structure. Hey, yo, Megabyte, last week we was talking, and when I came into the show, the secretary gave me that stuff. She said she wanted me to break down that quote. Yo, and that quote was basically saying there's a superstructure that controls everything. That controls the economic world. So if you're looking at it from purely an economic perspective, you're not going to understand the bureaucracies in place to maintain that economic system. Yo, that shit is deep. That was Huey P. Newton in the 60s explaining that. But Huey P. Newton wasn't a dummy. He also
Correction, that quote, that passage was from the late 19th century. He was quoting another work back from... Yeah, so he was in the 70s talking about something 80 years ago, which is why it was so hard for us to understand.
Do you remember who he was quoting?
No, let me look it up for a second. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, no, but it's fascinating. Yo, it doesn't changes. None of this changes, yo. It comes back, but if you don't understand, if you are not politically educated, you're not going to understand none of this. It's going to look new to you. You're going to be looking at Mandani. You're going to be looking at the next person, the next politician, thinking like they're going to change this society, when their job is to maintain the society as it is.
40,000 Negroes of Philadelphia need food, clothes, shoes, hats, and furniture. These, by proper thrift, they see ought to be in part supplied by themselves, and the little business ventures they have noticed are attempts in this direction. These attempts would, however, be vastly more successful in another economic age. Today, as before noted, the application of large capital to the retail business, the gathering of workmen into factories, the wonderful success of trained talent in catering to the whims and tastes of customers almost precludes the effective competition of the small store. Thus, the economic condition of the day militates largely against the Negro. It requires more skill and experience to run a small store than formerly, and the large store and factory are virtually closed to him on any terms. Turning now to the other wards of the city, let us notice some of the chief business ventures of the Negroes. This list is by no means exhaustive, but it is representative. The most important omissions here are barbershops, on account of the large number, caterers because their headquarters are mainly in private houses, and many small stores which are easily overlooked and which quickly come in.
Go ahead. What was you was about to say? Go ahead, Megabyte.
Yeah, so that letter that was quoted, the passage we were struggling with, was a letter from Friedrich Engels to J. Bloch in 1890. I'm not sure who Bloch is, but Engels was one of the authors who, so in 1848, bunch of communists got together under the leadership of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels to write the Communist Manifesto, which forms the backbone of Marxism. Right, that was in 1848. So we're talking 32 or 42 years later. Friedrich Engels, one of the architects of that document, was sending this letter to another comrade, I would assume, talking about this stuff, which then, another 80 years later, Huey P. Newton was trying to teach to us.
All power to the people. No, but because Huey P. Newton, because the Panthers were Marxists. So no doubt he would be reading Marx and he would be reading the Communist Manifesto. I mean, and that's where, like, all these ideas, like, is people not just sitting down like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. No, this is scientifically studied things. This is social science. I mean, to explain.
The craziest part, I recently, I listened to it, I found on YouTube an audiobook. I was listening to it while I fell asleep, listening to that Communist Manifesto. It's not that long. The whole thing's like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. The shit they are talking about, the problems with capitalism that they were identifying and trying to combat, have only been exacerbated today. We are today going through the largest transfer of wealth, other than through like war. A nation conquers another, kills all their people, takes all their riches. That's a pretty big transfer of wealth. But like through non-war means, we are going through the biggest transfer of wealth from the working class to the owning class that has ever occurred in recorded history. So the topics that are being identified and attempted to be combated by that manifesto are only worse today, except public sentiment against communist is a bad word. And it's all propaganda. I talked about that, how Sigmund Freud's nephew helped define corporate PR to like put anti-communist sentiment to justify the exploitation of banana plantation workers, right? Like the stuff ain't new. They just got so good at the propaganda that they've made these words taboo, so we can't even say them because you're immediately labeled an enemy of the people.
Hey, you've been studying, yo. Hey, you've been studying, huh? you've been studying, yo.
I'm good at studying, bro. That I got autism and ADHD, and I got like the lucky ends of both of them, where I got like.
I'm about to make a joke from Family Guy, because on Family Guy he'd be like, "Yo, I got the good autism." They're like, "You got the good or the bad autism?" So, nah, you be studying, because I'm telling you, it goes so deep. Sigmund Freud, what is it? His nephew, his cousin, what was he?
It was the nephew worked with the United Fruit Company to rebrand into Chiquita. Dude, so I went to the grocery store. I can only buy Chiquita bananas, and guess what fucking country those bananas are from? Guatemala. So I'm sitting here, I want to boycott this fucking bread. I literally can't. If I want to eat a banana, I got to go buy a Chiquita banana from Guatemala knowing that they destabilized the entire country. And dude, when I was posting about this stuff online, I had Guatemalan American immigrants, first-generation Guatemalan American immigrants hit me up, and I had conversations with them where they're like, dude, I'm so grateful to see people who weren't directly impacted by this stuff talking about it, because I try to tell people about it, and they underplay it. It's like, dude, I know that I have a bunch of aunts and uncles that I'd never get to meet because they got killed by the military, and my dad fled in the 80s, right? And you know, only went back for like his dad's funeral or something. Like, we're never going back there. And then I try to tell people about it, and they underplay it or they don't believe it at all. So seeing people talk about this stuff, like, I made people cry just by acknowledging the oppression that their people went through. You gotta understand history, understand the context of how we got where we're at today, because people need to learn about it. And we got the ability to teach today like never before. I'm excited. I love you guys. All power to the people.
All power to the people. And the excitement you feel is, when I was reading all this stuff, I was in a prison cell. So imagine being in a prison cell and you reading that stuff, but you can't post it anywhere. You're just sitting there thinking to yourself like, this shit can't be real. Now this can't be true right here. Like my first time listening was I was scrolling on the radio on AM, like I'm trying to find something to listen to, and then I came up on Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey was talking, and he was going in like, who are you? Who made you this? Why did you think this? You're not this. And I'm like, who the hell is this talking? Like, it was just bugging me. And from that, like, that was the surface. And I started scratching, started reading more and more and more and more. I was like, wow. Like, I'm telling you, I was so motivated when I walked out of prison. I went right to school. I went right to a university. I needed the university to prove everything that I was learning was wrong, and they couldn't. I used to have professors in there. I used to be telling the professor, like, they didn't know what they was talking about, because I read the book already. They hadn't read the book. So I used to go to the chapter. I'm talking to the professor in the class. In the debate, me and the professor going back and forth, I'd tell them what chapter, what page. The kids in the classroom used to open it up and go to the page. They'd be like, oh, shit, he really know this shit. But I had time to read. I was removed from the world. I didn't have nothing to distract me. And I was really passionate. The same way you feeling right now. Like, I wanted to know everything. We are never going to get to the end of this video. Let me play this video and finish out. We got so much.
Disappear. Some of the businesses are large and important. 3 or 4 caterers do a business of several $1,000s per year. The well-known Chestnut Street florist does a flourishing and well-conducted business. The undertaker in the 8th Ward and the real estate dealer in the 27th are unusually successful in their lines. The crockery store in the 4th Ward is neat and tasty. The 3 largest enterprises are the provision and wholesale meat businesses in the 15th Ward and the carpet cleaning works. It is reported that the business of each of these approaches $10,000 a year. The publishing house does a business of $15,000 a year.
So that was chapter 9, section 23 of the Philadelphia Negro. So like, how does that affect everything? So this week, you know what? I don't want to start here. I don't want to start with them right here. Let's go to the SNAP benefits. So this week, we all know what happened. The Democrats caved. Well, I don't even want to call it caving, because it was all a political stunt in the first place. Like, they stunting all of us. They got us out here, like, following the Democrats, following the Republicans. Let me play the video, and we're going to talk after he go.
She's saying what the Democrats are doing.
Oh, this is the Jimmy Dore show. I watch a few different shows to try to understand or get a glimpse of what's really going on out there, because everything is really controlled. Everything is controlled. You cannot listen to mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all these different places. They're all controlled by those who have the money to be able to provide those platforms for those people to speak. So they basically parrot what those in power want you to hear. So it's hard. It's hard to find places where you can hear the truth. Even I listen to Jimmy Dore, but Jimmy Dore got his own thing too. All these different shows, they all got their own issues. I'm going to be kind and say they all have their own different issues. Because at the end of the day, they all believe they can create a political power or political party for them to overthrow the existing power by joining it, by going inside the electoral process. They think they can have their own party that's going to defeat these people. That's where they feel like to me. That's where they come short at. That means they're not really ready to do what we need to do to change what's going on. You can't go in the system to do anything. You have to create your own system. You have to create dual contending power for the people to see like this side, these people, these institutions really care about them. The people would leave the system that's in place now and go to the new system because that system generally serves them. But let me play Jimmy Dore.
By voting to open the government without getting a guarantee for the health care for working Americans, she says this is a drop in the ocean of disappointment that she feels with the Democrats. Well, you know what? A drop in the ocean of disappointment is also how Tim Kaine refers to his orgasms. I'm here with a special guest friend of the show. Nick Cruz is here. He's a social critic, citizen journalist, commentator. He's also the host and co-founder of the Revolutionary Blackout Network. Welcome back to the show, Nick Cruz. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's poppin', Jimmy? It's always good to be with you.
I wanted to bring you up because I wanted to get your take on this, what's happening. The shutdown, it seems to be over. It seems that they have struck a deal in the Senate to end this shutdown. So this is from USA Today. Now, some Democrats have signaled new support for reopening the government. Congress has declared a number of procedural hurdles. When the new funding deal passes the Senate, which could come as soon as today, that if you're watching this video on Tuesday, it's supposed to be today, the package will then have to pass the House of Representatives, which hasn't taken a vote in weeks, which it will pass the House of Representatives because it's run by Republicans. Lawmakers in the House have been put on a 36-hour return notice, so it would likely take several days, barring any travel issues, lawmakers, but for them to pass. So if the Senate passes this, which looks like they're going to, they have the votes. As of this recording, it hasn't happened yet, right? It hasn't happened yet, right? Nope. And then it has to go to the House. So, but the House isn't in session, so they have to get everybody back into Washington, D.C., which might take a couple days. So I don't know, what are we looking at? Wednesday, Thursday? The agreement would reverse Trump's recent firings of federal workers during the shutdown, but the president suggested he's fine with that. I'd abide by the deal. The deal's very good, Trump says. Really? Okay. So what's in the deal? The agreed-to deal would reopen the government until January 30th. That's it. So it doesn't even get us 3 months. 2.5 months of government. It would also include a full year funding for several agencies and programs. That's including food aid, veterans benefits. SNAP funding would continue through September at higher levels.
You know, Jimmy, I just see here the Senate is taking a series of procedural votes aimed at finalizing the deal between Republicans and Democrats that would end the government shutdown, teeing up a final vote later Monday night.
So tonight, okay. It also includes a commitment to vote on a bill to potentially extend expiring Obamacare subsidies. So I just want to, before we go any further, I want a spoiler alert, the Democrats have caved, just in case you don't know. This is called the Democrats caving.
You see, like I don't call it Democrats really caving because they wasn't really fighting for the people. The reason why the Democrats were holding out, why they decided to make sure the government was shut down, was because they were fighting for money for insurance companies. That's what they were fighting for. They were not fighting for the people. And who did they use as leverage to try to have this little, I don't even want to call it a fight, because the Republicans and Democrats, they both work for the same oligarchs. They both work for the same corporations, same pharmaceutical companies. So it's not really like they're really fighting. Each party wants to be the one that's in charge of exploiting the people. They're not fighting for the people. So they said they were trying to get that money for the insurance companies, so they were going to shut the government down. Because the SNAP benefits are already there. They're supposed to go to the people anyway. No politician is supposed to be able to stop those benefits from going to the people. But they allow all these things to happen so the people can be upset at Trump, so they could put them back in power. While they've done nothing. while Democrats have done nothing to change the material conditions outside, to change gentrification, to change anything, the economics that's going on. They have done absolutely nothing. All they did since Trump took over was just sit back and say there's nothing they could do. So the people will be so upset at Trump because now Trump is coming in. He's not allowing those subsidies to go to these private corporations. So now people are going to have to pay for those things. So Democrats are like, yeah, just sit back, let it happen. Because when people have to start paying, they're not going to want to vote for Trump or the Republicans anymore, and then we're going to get in power. And what do we get? What do the people get? The people that's on welfare. The people that are being thrown into the streets. They don't get anything. But you see, like, yo, you can't, I'm not even upset with the people. You can't even be upset with the people because the masses of the people don't vote. They don't believe in the system no more. The people have given up on this system. Yo, the only people that vote are the people that work in these institutions. If you work in the government, of course you want to keep your government job around, and those politicians are going to tell you to go vote because you work for them. You work for these nonprofits, all these different institutions, like the school system, the colleges, all these different institutes. Even if you're a doctor, if you're in a position where you want to maintain the status quo, you going out to vote.
A lot of people, you got to forgive them. I got an echo.
Right, you good.
Somebody got their mic on.
Probably, but you sound good though.
So a lot of people, they're brainwashed in a different degree. They've also been propagandized. They've gone through the American education system, and they learned about MLK's civil rights movement. They learned about those peaceful protests, but they don't learn the full story. They are brainwashed into believing, like, these days, once a year, well, only once a year, mind you, but once a year, some of the descendants of the people responsible for MLK's assassination will say his name. And it's to hammer into the American psyche that the way you change the system is through these peaceful marches and gatherings and holding signs. And what the American education system doesn't teach is that MLK was only a single prong of the civil rights movement. The idea was to accept our civil disobedience because the alternative was civil unrest. We don't learn about the civil unrest that led to the real change. Last week in this meeting, Chairman taught us about the origin of SNAP benefits and the civil unrest that led to FDR's campaign on the New Deal, which was a huge populist movement. And it was spurred on by civil unrest, people rioting in the streets because shit was not okay. And that was going on during the civil rights movement, but we don't learn about that. I didn't learn about the Panthers in school and all the activity in the late 60s and early 70s. I learned about that by doing my own research later. Right? And but people are brainwashed into believing that the system can change, that those peaceful marches and sign holding. I'm not advocating violence one bit. I'm just pointing out that they were misinformed about how the change we've seen occurred in order to be tricked into thinking that that is all they need to do to change the system today. So it's sanctimonious. That's a vocab word I highly suggest you guys look up. But it's like a well-meaning but impractical intentions. That's the problem with liberalism too. You got all these people who like they know that y'all have it bad and they want to help, and they think the way they help is to go vote to change the system, and they just don't understand the reality of the situation because they grew up under propaganda and they think they see through the propaganda. They have this false understanding that they see through the veil, not understanding that there's like so many different layers to the veil and they're just caught in a different layer. And you try to tell them and they think you're the wrong one for knowing that the system doesn't work and that you're the problem because if you just joined us, we'd be able to fix the system. Nah, man, the people who made the rules didn't make the rules in a way that they thought you had a chance of subverting their power. They made the rules in a way that they could trickle us drops of progress that they could then adapt to. I'm sorry to go on at length, but this is something I wanted to say earlier. You were talking about how, back in the day they would burn black neighborhoods to push them out, and now they just increase your rent. And there's a parallel to that slavery. Slavery was eradicated in 1865 by the 13th Amendment. That was passed by Congress in January of 1865. I want to point out that it didn't get enacted until December of 1865, so it took a whole ass year before they actually said, okay, we voted on it, it passed, the people want it, now we're taking it away. It took a year. But do you think things got better for freed slaves? No, because now they weren't property. Now the owners of them didn't have a responsibility to take care of their property, their investment. They had no reason to. So they kicked them out of their homes, because these people lived on the plantations. Now the owners had no obligation to give them a home. These slaves, oftentimes, they'd work the plantations, grow the owners' crops, and then in order to feed themselves, after they went and did their backbreaking slave labor for the owners, they could have their own garden where they got their own food from. Now they didn't have access to that. Now they weren't allowed to use the owning class's tools to grow their own food. Shit got worse, not better.
But check it out, though. Remember, I said Du Bois used to say there was a color line. And from the study from Fred Hampton, Fred Hampton was only 21 when he died, too. That's crazy. And I'm here in my 40s, and I'm studying Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton preached the class struggle. Because, even though they said they freed the slave, they ratified, did all of that shit, the power dynamics was still in the hands of the ruling class, those who had the slaves. So now the slave no longer stayed on the plantation, like you said. He had to go find his own lodging, find his own home, but he still has to come back and work for the people in power, for him to be able to find a way to survive. But not just him, the entire system is created for everybody to make sure they go to master to find a way to eat. People work now, today, the life we live in. If you look at all the people in the United States of America, the masses of the people, 80, 90% of the people, leave their house in the morning, they work from sun up to sundown, and then they have to go get their own lodging or house or whatever. This is slavery in a different name. This is why we say you cannot reform imperialism, because it just changes its face to something else. But yeah, man, good point, Megabyte, good point.
So the tax credits, which millions of Americans rely on for helping paying premiums, have been the issue at the center of the shutdown fight. So they have tax credits, so people who work, who can't afford health insurance in America, because we pay 100% more for our health care than every place else in the world, 100% more. That's what we pay. This is our private system. And people can't afford it. So people get these tax credits and they get subsidies to help them buy their health insurance. So it's basically a giveaway to health insurance companies. It's welfare for the health insurance companies via giving people health insurance. In addition, so what they're going to do is they're going to have a vote on it. So they're going to vote on a bill to extend those subsidies so people can buy health insurance. They're just going to have, they're not promising, the Democrats didn't win. The Democrats didn't get them to promise to reinstate so in addition, the deal will reverse the layoffs of thousands of federal workers while barring any potential firings until January 30th. The terminations have been temporarily blocked by a federal court. Now, Democrats are not, so they just had their big victory last Tuesday. And a lot of it came from the fact that the voters blamed the Republicans for the government shutdown and for a lot of things, but that's definitely what they're getting blamed for. And so that helped the Democrats have a big landslide election last Tuesday. And so they've taken all that momentum and all that, and they threw it away. It's all gone, and Democrats are upset about this. Even Gavin Newsom, he tweeted this out, pathetic. So that's not just him spitballing his future campaign slogans. That's his reaction to the Democrats caving. Here's another Democrat, Mark Warner, a senator, Democrat from Virginia. He says, "I cannot support a deal that still leaves millions of Americans wondering how they're going to pay for their health care or whether they will be able to afford to get sick."
And look, that's USA Today. This is not something that Africa's making up. Like if I said this, if I came on here and I said all this stuff without him talking, it would seem like Africa just being what, hyperbolic, making stuff up. I mean, like I am letting he's quoting USA Today. He's quoting other politicians like Gavin Newsom. Like I told you, no politician is a good politician. But even they can see the writing on the wall, and they can't hide it. So they have to agree with what we all see.
Most Senate Democrats opposed reopening the government without extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, which are set to...
What does those subsidies have to do with us, the masses of the people? I don't have health care right now. I can't afford to have health care. The hardest thing for people to do is to be sincere. I mean, to show your vulnerability. I could come on here and lie, be like, I got this, I don't have shit. I'm in the hood with everybody else. I mean, even though I have 3 degrees, I have been isolated in the community I live in. I can't get a job anywhere around here to do anything because I am against the government. I'm against the politicians. I'm against all of the stuff that they stand for. So I can't get nothing around here. So, that's one of the penalties of saying you want to be counterculture, you want to fight back against the system. You will be isolated. As I speak, I don't have insurance. The Obamacare does nothing for me. If I get sick, if I get shot, if anything happened to me, I get a heart attack, I'm going to the emergency room. 40, 50 years ago, that's the same thing that I would have did. Or anybody else would have did. They would have went to the emergency room. They give you charity care. It's the same thing. That's what Obamacare is. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And now the people that have to pay into it, like you have a job, and they make you pay into it. Make you pay into Obamacare. They make it almost too expensive for you to be able to afford it. Now they got to do all these different tax loops where they're giving companies, they're giving you subsidies, giving you all of this. The corporations is getting paid. You still not getting nothing. You're still paying for medical that's useless. I mean, but let them keep talking.
Expired December 31st. Open enrollment began November 1st, and premiums are projected to double for participants if subsidies aren't extended. About 22 million of the 24 million participants receives, so 24 million people get their health care through the Obamacare thing. 22 of those million get subsidies. And I wonder how many million of them are MAGA, have voted for Trump. As Steve Bannon said on this show, you can't take a meat cleaver to cutting health care. You got to do it with the scalpel because there's lots of MAGA on Medicaid, Medicare, and these subsidies.
But Trump doesn't care, and Trump is not smart enough to understand that. Trump is just a buffoon. He's just somebody that they put there. He doesn't know how to manage his government. He's just the face, just like Obama was the face, just like Biden was the face. These people are just the face of the people that's really controlling them. So they're saying remember, all of us say we're not voting for Hillary, we're not supporting Biden. Let Trump go in there and show this country what America is really about. And that's what he's showing them. He's showing his ignorance. Because when you go in there and you do things like this, you affect everybody. You heard Republicans, you heard Democrats, you heard everybody. Or let's say all the MAGA people, all the racist white people that were supporting him. You cutting their shit too. But they're going to feel it. And once they feel it, what they're going to do? They're going to vote the Democrats back in, and we're back again to square one, starting again from square one, complaining about the Democrats. Then the Republicans come in 4 more years after that, and we keep going over and over and over, instead of just walking away from these people.
But so we took back the administration. We had a big, I say we loosely here, Democrats had a big blue wave during the midterms of Trump's first term. Democrats took back the office of the presidency. If they wanted to, they could have put protections in place to prevent another Trump term. But by doing so, they hamstring themselves. The same things that would protect us from a second Trump term would ultimately put too much power in the hands of the people, take it away from themselves. So they didn't. They just hoped that people would go blue instead of red so that they could keep their power structure. Right? They don't want to make the changes that actually protect us because it removes power and control from themselves. So they can't do that.
And it's and at the end of the day, it goes against what their donors want. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve the people and the donors.
The compromise to end the shutdown commits to a Senate vote in December to extend the tax credit. So they're going to vote in December about the health care. So they're not even going to vote. So it's going to come in a while. But approval is not assured. In fact, it's probably not going to happen. Many Republicans oppose extending the subsidies without overhauling the entire program. But not one Republican has submitted a new health care plan, as far as I know. I haven't. Where's the Republican health care plan? Marjorie Taylor Greene is screaming about, where's the Republican health care plan? My kids can't afford their health insurance premium. Marjorie Taylor Greene says her health insurance premium is more than her mortgage. Democrats have criticized Republicans for opposing Obamacare without offering their own option. That's what I just said. Now is their chance, said Jeffries. Here's my final slide. Linda Lowell, a Democrat voter from rural Virginia, called a vote by the few Democrats, including Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, to end the government shutdown without a guaranteed extension of health care subsidies, a drop. And so what she's saying, what the Democrats are doing, by voting to open the government without getting a guarantee for the health care subsidies for working Americans, she says this is a drop in the ocean of disappointment.
But remember that. Remember what she's talking about. Getting money to private corporations. That money is not going to the people. You have to understand that. Like these politicians are not here doing anything to serve the masses of the people. They're complaining that if they don't keep it going, so they can get the subsidies for these corporations, then this is going to be another drop in the bucket of disappointment. We've been disappointed. We're already disappointed. We should be done with the Democratic Party. Too many people are suffering. The point has been made that it is the Republicans who did it. And now I think the Republicans are just going to have to wear the loss of the ACA credit and fiasco over SNAP. So basically, they're going to sit back and do nothing and watch the Republicans just throw themselves under the bus, and then everybody's going to go vote for Democrats. This is what they're doing. This is the game plan. But if you don't understand, if you don't pay attention, you're just going to go out there and be like, hey, you know what, Trump did this, I'm about to go vote for a Democrat, and nothing will change.
That she feels with the Democrats. Well, you know what? A drop in the ocean of disappointment is also how Tim Kaine refers to his orgasms. Too many people are suffering. The point has been made that it's the Republicans who did it, and now I think the Republicans are just going to have to wear the loss of the ACA credits and the fiasco over SNAP, she said. Okay, so before I bring in Nick, I'll just give you my take on this, is that the Democrats really gave a gut punch to their base, because the base felt like they were winning. They were actually had some leverage against the Republicans over this shutdown and the health care benefits. And that's why they swept the elections on Tuesday. And within a week, the Democrats caved. Within a week, the Democrats caved. They caved. They completely caved. And now you're probably not going to get those benefits. But let me just ask you, Nick, here's my thought, is that the Democrats decided we got our electoral victory on last Tuesday, and now we can go ahead and cave, because people are going to blame that when time comes in next November for the midterms, people will blame the Republicans when they lose their health care, which they're going to. So the Democrats looked at it as a win-win. We won on Tuesday. Now we can cave, and then the Republicans will be blamed for cutting their health care. And so it's a win-win for the Democrats. That's how I see it. And by the way, they both work for the same people, so this is all theater. Over to you, Nick. What do you say?
Yeah, they essentially were like, thank you for the vote, suckers.
Yes, thanks for voting.
Yeah, thanks for the vote, suckers, and now you guys are on your own. People really thought that the Democratic Party was going to fight for them because of the No Kings rally. They thought that the Democratic Party was on their side because of that. No, this is the same political theater. And you know that they have different rotating villains this time, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
The senators who are not up for re-election until 2028, some 2030. They strategically picked the Democrats they knew wouldn't be up for re-election to be the one who vote no, which is why trying to change the Democratic Party is a fool's errand, because they can always change someone to be a rotating villain whenever they need to. Now, regarding this shutdown, you have to ask, what was the 40 days for? Because it was the same deal that the Republican Party offered. This was all about squeezing the American working class so they are more likely to accept the demands set forward by the ruling class. This is what they do every single lockdown. They use lockdown as a way to implement austerity. It's a political show that always had the same end. This is how it was always going to end.
So this is so that's the question, that Democratic voters are like, well, this is the same deal that you could have got 40 days ago. Why did you make us starve for a month without our SNAP payments or without our government job payments, without paying air traffic controllers? Why did you do this for Well, my theory on this is they wanted to do it so they can get this election, these electoral wins on Tuesday, and then completely sell out, because that's what. So it's the same deal they could have gotten 40 days ago. So now, what do you say about my theory that the Democrats decided that they're going to win on this either way, because people are going to blame the Republicans for cutting their health care. So the Democrats are almost kind of happy that it's happening because it's a win-win for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Democratic Party wanted to do, and it showed how they're one of the most effective evil, because think how disgusting that is. They want to put so many Americans through pain to solve a problem that you guys could have solved when you was in government, fighting for health care.
And that's what we was talking about, Megabyte. When they were in government, they could have pushed policies or passed laws that would enable people to be whole, but they didn't. I mean, that's what he's about to go into.
Whole subsidy for Obamacare, essentially government paying insurance companies to jack up their profits, even though they still keep prices high. They still deny people. This is a problem that you guys could have solved when in government, but instead of solving it with policy, they try to shut the government down, and they try to squeeze Donald Trump and hurt the American working class for political victory. It's a horrible strategy. And now Democrats are talking about the cost of health care under Donald Trump, but this has been a problem with the American working class. This was a problem under Joe Biden. We have record amounts of Americans that were going through medical debt.
During COVID, that's when they're supposed to pass universal health care. Everybody have health care. During COVID, Biden refused. Biden refused while he was sending money across seas around the world to go bomb and kill people around the world. They refused to give everybody health care. And they had all branches of power. They had both houses, and they had the White House. They could have passed whatever they wanted to pass, but they didn't. And now Trump is in office. They're doing all this fake being upset, fake angry, fake this. And the whole time, not one politician is losing a paycheck. Not one politician is going hungry while the people are starving. And then when they come back, when the people vote them back in power, like we said, it's the same thing over and over and over again. Oh man, look, I done went skipped over there, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We good with that. No, not really. I wanted to hear
that they're going to win on this either way, because they're going to
they want to put so many Americans through pain to solve a problem that you guys could have solved when you was in government, fighting for health care. Like the whole subsidies for Obamacare, essentially government paying insurance companies to jack up their profits, even though they still keep prices high. They still deny people. This is a problem that you guys could have solved when in government, but instead of solving it with policy, they try to shut the government down.
Why is there a middleman? Why do we have to give our money to insurance companies for them to provide the worst health care out here? Why is there a middleman? Because it's all a gag.
And they try to squeeze Donald Trump and hurt the American working class for political victory. It's a horrible strategy. And now Democrats are talking about the cost of health care under Donald Trump, but this has been a problem with the American working class. This was a problem under Joe Biden. We have record amounts of Americans that were going through medical debt under Joe Biden, but Democrats did nothing to solve the problem then. So if Democrats only care about stuff when Republican is in charge, and their strategy of doing this is actually designed to implement the most pain, the same with like their immigration policy. The Democrats always do this. They inflict the most pain with their incoherent.
No, listen to this. Nah, this is really important for you to listen to with the immigration plan, because this is what Democrats have been doing with immigration. They're no different from the other party, from the Republicans with immigration. You see, but the Democrats are like that fox. The fox and the wolf that Malcolm talked about. The Democrats would grin in your face, would smile, would tell you all these good things. They love everybody. Everybody can come in. We the shining whatever on the top of the hill, all kind of goofy stuff. Come to America, everybody can have the American dream. But once you come here, you get to find out what Biden and Kamala Harris will do to you. Remember, like they had people on horses. I don't know if y'all all saw it, but when Biden was president, there were people on horses at the border whipping Haitians. They had the whips, and they were on horseback. It looked like some from the 18th, 17th, 16th century, and they were whipping people on the border. If you didn't see that video, if you've never seen it before, look it up. Border agents whipping Haitian migrants at the border. This was during Kamala and Biden.
Immigration policy in order to win over Latino votes. So people see how under Donald Trump, there's less border crossing, for example. Because at least the Republican Party is coherent. They essentially tell people, don't come to the United States or we will mess you up. Meanwhile, the Democrats, in order to win over Latino voters, they pretend to be pro-immigrant, and then when people get here, they lock them in cages, they lock their kids in cages and deport them. That's the mechanism why they end up deporting more people than the Republican Party. It's an inherently more cruel policy than what the Republicans advocate for. The same with the lockdown in their healthcare policy.
So, how do you see this all ending up? I mean, that vote they're going to take on extending the subsidies in December, they're not going to vote to extend the subsidies, correct?
Nope. And Donald Trump wouldn't even sign any legislation anyway. This was designed as political theater to get Americans to accept the idea that their healthcare costs will go up. This is the same thing they do with every single political shutdown. It's used to squeeze the American working class and get them to accept less. So this is going to end horrifically. It's going to lead to more medical debt. I don't have health care. I have many people in my family that doesn't have health care. This system is called...
Yo, you heard him? He doesn't have health care either. He doesn't have health care. There's a lot of people out here that don't have health care. He said, I don't have health care either. People can't afford this health care.
On the part. And the ruling class, I explain this all the time, they don't have any bailout plans, guys. Their plan is to build a police state, to hide in their bunkers. As our economy falls apart, Donald Trump is planning to spend $1 trillion on the military, to spend more on Israel, to bail out their libertarian projects in Argentina. They don't have a backup plan. This is why people get serious about mutual aid society, us coming together, because there's no end game.
Remember that mutual aid society part. Remember that. Well, I let him speak for a second. Remember that, so I let him speak. What am I doing, man? I got to go back and find where he at.
Premiums double. It will be a bloodbath for the Republican.
Yo, man, I swear to God.
To hide in their bunkers.
There we go.
As our economy falls apart, Donald Trump is planning to spend $1 trillion on the military, to spend more on Israel, to bail out their libertarian project in Argentina. They don't have a backup plan. This is why people get serious about mutual aid society, us coming together, because there's no end game. They will squeeze the working class until the working class starts to push back. And as I see it right now, the working class is too obsessed with culture war to get their act together. They get too distracted with new shiny objects like random Democrat mayors, for example, to actually get revolutionary. So they will continue to squeeze the working class with these political theater acts until people get their act together.
Once working class people who voted for Donald Trump see their health care premiums double, it will be a bloodbath for the Republicans in November. I don't really understand I really don't get what they actually get out of doing this, except, some portions of their base get a kick out of kicking, punching down. I always say if you find yourself angry at someone lower on the economic ladder than you, good chance you're being manipulated by someone higher on the economic ladder than you. And that's exactly what's been happening with SNAP. People are punching down at people who need food stamps. People are punching down at people who need credits and subsidies just to afford health insurance in our country, people who work. And at the same time, Donald Trump is giving $1 trillion to weapons manufacturers, $40 billion to the Libertarian Project in Argentina, hundreds of billions of dollars still funding the Ukraine, $34 billion to Israel, and how many billions of dollars they're spending on this Venezuela war. And now they're building a new military base in Damascus in Syria. Did you know that? So now Syria, Al-Qaeda, Israel, and the United States are all working together. Isn't that something? So I don't know how much it takes for people to feel like a chump, but I certainly do. And now Donald Trump is welcoming to the White House the Al-Qaeda leader. As people are freaked out about Mandami might do a rent freeze, Donald Trump, oh my God, Mandami, he's a Muslim. He's going to be a terrorist. Oh, Donald Trump literally welcoming the head of Al-Qaeda at the White House with open arms. They're all working together because they've always been working together. Why do you think Al-Qaeda and ISIS never attacked Israel? It's because they've always been working together and working for us, and we need Al-Qaeda and ISIS so we can go in and bomb Somalia, so we can bomb Yemen, so we can bomb Iraq, so we can bomb Libya, so we can bomb Syria. We always say it's terrorism, and so that, anyway, I'm getting a little bit off track here, but they've always got money for bombs. They got no money for your health care. It's amazing. They got $40 billion for Argentina. What the hell is Argentina for nothing? That's welfare to Donald Trump's billionaire backers because they invested in Argentina. That's what this is about. And by the way, George Soros, too, his hedge fund. But anyway, go ahead, Nick. Take it where you want.
Yeah, that's what I think is an amazing opportunity. Because I've been telling people who work for Donald Trump, what has Donald Trump built for the working class, Jimmy? What has he actually accomplished? What has he done for the poor white working class? Donald Trump has done nothing but put Israel first. He has abandoned the American working class. Now is the best time for us to build this third-party, anti-duopoly, anti-Zionist movement.
And that's, I wanted to play it to get to there. Because at the end of the day, because notice, they're saying the same thing that we would say. They have the same class rhetoric, the same class critique. But listen to where he ends it at. This is where we divide at. We have to create a party to end this duopoly. How you going to end the duopoly? By creating your own party. So now instead of going out to do this mutual aid, let me go show you. Let me go show you, because we don't have no money. We not rich. I mean, we not rich out here, but this is what we doing out here. Yo, I'm unloading the truck right now. When they talk about mutual aid, this is what they're talking about. I mean, look. Huey P. Newton said there are no more nation states. Like, these governments don't support us, they don't work for us. We must create intercommunalism, where we are working from community to community, building solidarity and working together to provide for the people in our communities. This is what he's talking about. That is why we do this. We got more deliveries. We got more food that came in. I'm unloading the truck right now. If you need some food, and comment in the inbox. If you live in North New Jersey, we're going to bring this food to you. Now you heard me. If you live in Newark, New Jersey, because we're in Newark, New Jersey, you'll call me, inbox me. You don't have to stand online. It's cold. You don't have to do none of that. We will bring the food to you. When we bring the food to you, we're talking to you about joining what we're doing. I mean, building that cooperatives in our community. Like, everything we're doing, none of this is just we just wake up and do it. It's scientific study. We studied from our ancestors, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. Thank you, right? We're going to continue to bring the food. I got to pack up the boxes. And when the government bring the food they hand out to the people, they don't bring food like this. They don't bring you food like this. They bring a whole bunch of BS, like stuff that people don't even want. Like, look what we bringing. And this is not like we're rich. Yo, I'm not going to tell you how the food is coming, what we're doing to get the food, but there's a comrade. He doesn't come to nothing. He don't go to marches. He don't do that. This is where he's at. to bring us this food for us to be able to give the people. This is the part of the organization that he's able to help because he has access to this food. So so the businesses that have this food at the end of the month, ain't nobody robbing nobody, ain't nobody doing nothing illegal. So let me just put it out there. At the end of the month, like 5 days, 6 days before the food expires, maybe a week, all this food they'll take down from the shelves to throw them away. We have somebody that brings all this food to the community, and we could easily take it out and give it out. That's how we get the food. There's nothing special, but I don't have a job there. I don't have the truck. I'm not able to do that. But this person the people that bring the food, they're able to do that. That's what they're able to contribute to the organization. So they bring the food, and we get the food, and we go pass it out. Everything is free of charge.
Got all this food up, but if you need some food, yo, hit us up, yo. Hit the inbox. The Black Panther Party is here to serve the people. We're here to serve the community. Everything we do is for free. We serve the community for free. We don't need no money from you. This is all piece all under here. I mean, look. I mean, like, it's a whole bunch of stuff in here. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And then we not even done. We got the bread. We got all kind of bread. We got all kind of stuff over here. We got the bananas and everything in it. Now, look. I was trying to tell the look. I was trying to tell the homie. See that? That's Jude Jakey. He the one that's delivering the food, bringing the food out here for us to come, break it down to get it to everybody. Yo, these are the real superheroes. When we talk about superhero, that's the real superhero, bro. Yo, I want y'all all to say hi to my man Jude motherfucking Jakey. Yo, I'm about to put this food together. If you need some food, inbox or hit the comment, yo. All power to the people.
Thank the Black Panther Party for giving us this food. We really appreciate it, and we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what he was talking about. Where he was so.
Hey, yo, if you're looking for the Black Panther Party, we're looking out, man. All power to the people, man. All power to the people. Have a good one, bro.
Mutual aid. When he was saying mutual aid, yo, this is us. This is our organization doing this in the city. Yo, how much more powerful, bigger, stronger, effective would we be if we had more people joining in to do this work instead of depending on the government to take care of us? Because everybody that we're giving the food to, this is our way of tapping in with them for them to help with what we're doing in the community, to come to the political education classes, to get politically educated, to understand the society that they're in and how to liberate themselves. I mean, so like when he's talking about, when he was talking about mutual aid, that's what we're talking about. Even this video right here, check this out.
The Black Panther Party has over 65 survival programs. And you might have heard of their free breakfast program, but what about these others? How about the People's Free Ambulance Service? This was first started by the Winston-Salem, North Carolina chapter.
The People's Winston-Salem Free Ambulance Service. So like we're talking about it here, like being cooperative, working outside of the government. Yo, this is here to show you that it's been done already. We have forgotten all of this because the leaders that came and tried to put these things in the community were killed. We're killed, sent to prison, and removed from the history books. So people have forgotten that we can do all these things ourselves. Yo, we're going to try to put an ambulance service out there. We're going to try, but it's like you got to have somebody to drive. You got to have somebody to go to the classes to study all this stuff. Listen to him.
It was all started because this 15-year-old black boy got shot. He really didn't die because he got shot. He really died because the county ambulance refused to move his body. Panther said, we already know what this is. Been waiting for the government to figure things out. They trained as EMTs. Then they converted an old hearse into an ambulance. And they got the job done. What you know about seniors against a fearful environment? Safe. On the first of the month, Panthers walked for seniors to cash their checks so they wouldn't get robbed. Prior to the Panthers, the seniors had gone to the Oakland Police Department. Instead of protecting them, they told them just walk closer to the curb.
No, but like, these are the things that the Panthers put in place, the program. When we say survival programs, you can put these programs in your community. You don't need the police, the government, NGO, nobody to do it. You just have to have a love for the people. You have to have a love for the community that you live in, that you want to transform that community. Yo, and you work in these places for free. Yo, can't nobody pay me for the work I do for the Panthers. You could not afford to pay me. You couldn't afford to pay the captain. You could not afford to pay anybody that works, because everything we do is for free, is from the heart. People that go to work, punch a clock in, but they're just doing that to get a paycheck. We doing this because we love the people.
I've been doing some studying, Chairman, and I was learning about Edgar Cleaver, right? And I learned about the standoff. What was it, 1971? The FBI, Oakland PD, whatever, raided, illegal raid. They rightfully self-defended. Cleaver got shot, and that was when Bobby Hutton, he's 17, 19 years old, and he surrendered.
Youngest member.
Surrendered, and they shot him. He surrendered, and they shot him in front of Cleaver. And that was the precipitating event where Edgar Cleaver split from Newton because he got too radicalized. He ended up going to prison. He got released on bail. He fled the country. He started international Panther movements, but he got over-radicalized. He was looking at what was going on in Palestine, which wasn't even, they weren't even recognized as a state back then. That's its own can of worms I'd love to discuss. But he got too radicalized and wanted to increase the militant aspect of the Panthers. But he stepped away from his position as the Minister of Information for the Black Panther Party, and that's when Elaine Brown took his role. And she ended up becoming chairman of the National Party, but that was when the Panthers vastly increased their focus on the survival programs, made that an emphasis, because now, the people were finally paying attention. They're questioning the FBI, CIA involvement in the persecution of these movements, and it spread to white movements is what really did it. It wasn't the persecution of the black movements. It was when the hippie movements and stuff were getting targeted by this too. Now the white folks are like, hey, it's happening to us too. Let's pay more attention to this. Huey P. Newton capitalized on that to shift the focus of the Panther Party into more of their survival programs and stuff with the help of Elaine Brown, and it was so successful, she ended up becoming the chairman of the whole party. So if you guys want to do some self-studying, use ChatGPT. Ask who Elaine Brown was, what her involvement was. Ask, these people, the whole Minister of Information position, they released a newspaper, right, and they distributed it to over 100,000 people across the country. They wrote really famous articles, and you can ask ChatGPT what were Elaine Brown's most important articles she wrote, and it'll tell you, and it'll summarize them, and you can ask ChatGPT, what is this one about? Where can I read it? And you can read about this stuff. You can see where these survival programs originated from. You don't got to wait for us to tell you.
All power to the people. Hey, and you go to the political education class too. And you know what? For graduation, I might see. Let me see. I'm gonna try and see if we could get Elaine Brown to come speak at the graduation once we graduate. I'm gonna try to reach out to a couple of Panthers. What's up, Shine?
Peace. All power. I wanted to speak to that about Elaine Brown, because I actually met Elaine Brown a couple times with brother Rashad Birdsong out in Pittsburgh. And I met them at the 50th with Jeff. We was out. We went out to Oakland. So yeah, Lane Brown. She the real deal. She the real deal. All power.
All power to the people. No, but we're gonna see if we could try to get her to come through, get Aaron to come through, Aaron Dixon to come through and come speak at the graduation. But yeah, I mean, these survival programs were big, because how you gonna try to have a revolution when there's nobody alive? People got to survive to be able to be alive to have any kind of revolution. So you start by building these institutions in the community to serve the people.
There was even a free plumbing and maintenance program. I mean, how many of our homes fall into disrepair because of lack of funds? According to the American Housing Survey, blacks are twice as likely as whites to live in inadequate homes. I'm talking about in 2021. Well, the Panthers provided maintenance service for free to the community. They also had a free pest control program. I lived in Houston. Y'all got bugs. But let's be real. Living with...
But everything he's explaining is what we don't do now. These institutions were put in the community. And I'm playing this to give you an example that these things were already done. We can do it. It can be done. But it can't be just the Black Panthers doing it. It has to be a whole communal thing. The whole community has to be a part of it. Whatever community that you're in, you must work in that community, organize the people in the community to provide for themselves. You can't look toward the government. These people are not here to do anything for the people. Matter of fact, I want you to hear what Trump said. I want you need to hear this. Let's start here. Let's start here with this.
So, of course, a couple nights ago, part 2, I suppose, of the Laura Ingraham interview dropped, because this clip had not gone viral on the first round of Ingraham interview snippets, but it went ultra viral 2 nights ago. I mean, this was everywhere. As you can see, this tweet dropped 8:09 p.m. November 11th, so that would have been Tuesday night. Here's Donald Trump, who was already kind of on thin ice with the base regarding the H-1B visas, and here he is doubling down on the exact position MAGA does not want to hear.
Like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it?
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for the administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people
no,
here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talent.
That's the president of the United States. That's the president. He's telling you we don't have talent. Because he understands these institutions have not educated the people for them to be able to take power, for them to fill none of these jobs. Because they've cut deals with corporations around the world to bring people in to do these jobs. So you hear them. You hear Trump talking about China, blaming China for everything. The Chinese are doing this, the Chinese are doing that. But he's here demanding people from China come over here to take these jobs, but the people here can't do them. I want you to just go ahead and listen to him.
I mean, did he decide, you know what, I'm just going to write Democrats ads for them? I'm just not, maybe he's afraid that Democrats are going to use AI ads against him, and he doesn't want them to use AI, he wants them to use him. Maybe he's got a big ego, so he doesn't like the AI renderings of himself, he wants them to use the real thing.
You do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people.
No, you don't have super talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory. We're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you.
Why not?
Like, do you hear them? This is the leader of the country, MAGA, Make America Great Again. He's supposed to be president for the American people. He's telling you the American people are not prepared to go work on factory lines. That you can't give people that are unemployed jobs. Like, they don't even think about the people. Like, and he's so dumb. This is what we mean by he's dumb. Why you would want somebody like Trump to win, for him to go on here and say things like this, so the people can hear it for themselves. This is fascinating. Like, who says that? People are unemployed. They're looking for a job. When he was running for office, he said everybody was going to get a job. He's going to get everybody a job. He's going to get everybody health care. But this is what they do when they're in power. The people are not smart enough to go work in factories. Which is why we have to create our own dual contending power. We must create our own economic base. We was reading just now. We was reading the Philadelphia Negro, where he was talking about the higher social structure and how that plays a role in these businesses, in these black businesses. This is what they're talking about. How can you really be in control of your destiny when you have a superstructure in place that's making sure jobs go to corporations outside the country and they bring their own workers into the country to come and work? You see, where people like Trump who come up here and use all the racist stuff, blaming poor people, blaming Antifa, talking about communism, calling Biden, Kamala Harris communist, when these people have no idea what communism is, when they're all capitalists. They all work for imperialism. See, but they throw all these words out there to get the people confused. And then they get in power and they tell you there are no jobs for you. I didn't make this up. I didn't tell him what to say. He went on here saying this.
We can't give unemployed Americans jobs. No, we can't do that. It's not like that's what I ran on. Yeah.
I thought that's why you were putting together this whole brown shirts force.
Oh my God, I gotta do better. I gotta do better. Let me see. I'm trying to forward it. I don't want to hear them talking. Really, keeping it a buck with you.
That's right.
People have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, I'll give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants. They had people from South Korea.
It was 100.
Batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it.
Right. So we need to bring South Koreans in to make batteries. And as for the unemployed Americans, well, they're just going to get hooked on opioids and die. I call that the thing, but she can be a bit ditzy. So let's look at the pro in the room. Let's look at the grown up in the cabinet here. Scott Bessent. Let's see what he has to say.
Aired her interview from a couple of days ago, and the kind of class limit on H-1B visas, which you up the fee to $100,000. I want you to watch this and tell me what you think.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for the administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
We have plenty of talented people here. We don't have talented people.
No, you don't have certain talents.
Yo, that's his country. He's the president of America, and he's saying Americans are not talented. You don't have Americans that can do these jobs, because these institutions have not trained them to do these jobs. Go find out what's going on in these schools. Go find out where America is ranked educationally around the world. And you understand, like, he sounds like a jerk, but he's really telling you the truth. And by and large, the system is made and it functions this way because that's how they've made it to work. That's what they've done. Miseducated all our children, miseducated all of us. Have us bamboozled and hoodwinked, going back, like don't know whether we coming or we going. And he knows that.
Look at the history of the American education system itself. I mean, it was never designed to make us as well educated as it could. It was never designed to make us, pump out well-conditioned adults fit for their own personal growth. The entire purpose of the establishment of the American public education system was to be able to take farm children and turn them into competent enough factory workers. And mind you, we're talking about the 1800s, when that meant they were sending like kids to weave in and out of these big unsafe machines, and that your hair gets caught and you get pulled in and you die. You think they gave the workers the day off when they saw that happen? No, they pulled the body out and sent everybody back to work and stuff. The whole system was not designed to teach properly and teach history and build us up. It was designed to make us more efficient to work in the systems that they needed to earn money. And that core ideology has not gone away. They've just had to increase the level of education due to our increased needs for intelligence in order to participate in an economic system that requires intellectualism to function. That's one of those concessions that they made to drip feed us progress that feels like progress because we're increasing the quality of education. But look at how they're dismantling it today. Putting Betsy DeVos into the cabinet as the fucking whatever her role, I forget off the top of my head what that role is called, but Betsy DeVos, I'm from Michigan.
Betsy DeVos, what was she? Betsy DeVos. She was
Secretary of Education.
Yeah, Secretary of Education.
I'm from Michigan. I'd love to, by the way, if there's any Detroit Panther blocks, I'd really like to get in touch with them because that's my local. But Betsy DeVos destroyed Detroit public schools with her charter school programs, and that's what she was trying to. That's why she got the role that she did. It was to implement that on a national scale.
But before her, it was Arnie Duncan. He was a Democrat. He came in, and when he came in, that's when they really started pushing the charter schools. When she came, I'm telling you, he was a Democrat, she's a Republican. When she came in, she picked up the ball from where he left it at, and she carried it, she kept going. Both of these parties are against the people. And I remember Arnie Duncan Because when they first started with the charter school movement, we used to be at protests. This was before I became a Panther in 09, 010, 011. And we used to be out there standing with the teachers because we're like, nah, you can't close all these schools down. You can't fire these teachers that taught me when I was younger. And then, like, yo, I'm telling you, my political consciousness, my awareness started growing after I started being out there. Then I started listening to the teachers. The same teachers we started standing out there fighting with were going to go vote on Tuesday for Obama, to go vote for Arnie Duncan, the person that's coming in to bring the charter schools. And I'm looking at the teachers like what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? How can you be telling me you're going to go vote? Because we was out, we were literally at a march. It was cold as hell. We marching in front of the in front of what? In front of the Department of Education, whatever it was, downtown North. And the people were telling me, no, we was at 13th Ave. We was at a school at 13th Avenue. And then they were talking about going to vote on a Tuesday or something like that. And I'm looking at these people like they're crazy. I mean, that's all those moments is what like took me away from all this organizations, like the teachers, whatever, the teachers union, all this. I had to start separating away from them because I started seeing like at the end of the day, they were all still talking about supporting the same politicians that were manifesting the suffering in our community. I mean, but hey, man, we all learn. We all learn at our own pace.
And people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment
But the reason why I'm playing this, because this is Trump talking, and it's supposed to be checks and balances, separation in the state and government. But you're going to see there's no separation. Listen to the next politician. I mean, by and large, just co-sign what Trump is saying. Because they're scared Trump is going to get them out of office, going to push them out of office. But what kind of government is that? When you're afraid that the people that you're supposed to be holding accountable are going to fire you, so now you're just lying. You just up there co-signing whatever they're saying. But look, I skipped it anyway. Maybe the world don't want to hear him speak anyway. But let's put them on, man. I'm gonna try to get them on.
You can't ask us to give Americans jobs. No.
I mean, that's not how it works. The president's point here is, we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight.
Now, listen to him. Listen to him. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying that we're not going to be able to learn how to build ships overnight. Why can't we learn how to build ships? You haven't had enough time. The government hasn't had enough time to train people for them to be able to build these ships. You don't have enough time, so now you got to go get people from somewhere else to come in. But it's not that they want to go get people from somewhere else. It's just how imperialism works. They have made a deal with whatever company is fixing this stuff for them to come in and do this work. And they're going to use their own people to do it. It's called globalism.
We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona.
What did we do? During World War II, we put women in factories, women who had never worked with their, not everybody, don't come at me, Jesus Christ, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, we very famously had a,
But anyway, his name is Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. There's a Treasury Secretary. He's sounding just like Trump. There are no checks and balance. How are you going to hold these people accountable? You can't. Go ahead.
The American, the reserve is pretty much Donald Trump's piggy bank.
Yeah.
It's just his piggy bank. And to the point you were saying with the education, just subsidizing the education, subsidizing the health, subsidizing everything to privatize everything for themselves. And so it's just, all the things that we see in the remnants of is, I think a lot of things that people do is reactionary. The reaction to No Child Left Behind was, we get these charter schools, we take away, what the public schools are not doing, and then we give the right to the charter schools. But all the charter schools is being funded by these hedge fund corporations, and teaching nothing. Like I said, I taught for 9 years. I taught in so many different schools. One of the schools I taught at was African Center School, but they got ran over through a charter and they got broken up. And so when I finally looking at like how, their scope and sequence, none of the stuff they teaching is actually anything of value, like what the school was teaching the kids.
No, you're 100% correct. And like he said, he was a teacher for 9 years. He was a teacher for 9 years, and he was in that system, and he see how it works, see how it functions. I mean, like, that's where we're going to end it at for today, though. But, like, we need people that's been in those systems so we could create our own schools in our communities. But we need everybody here. We need everybody here and people outside here. No, I'm not finished. I want to show them these videos real quick. Now, stay. Don't go nowhere real quick. But this is somebody out in Philly. Let's show him real quick.
And here's the crazy part about that, too. So he's threatening the people who live in the back. He's trying to make somebody move their deck that they built on their property. He's trying to make them move their deck because he wants all his construction trucks to be able to come through this alleyway to get to that part right there. Now, this person right here has a wheelchair lift. He wants this person to remove their wheelchair lift and get it out of here so his construction trucks could come in. Now, here's my thing, right? We elect all these officials in the city of Philadelphia. Why are our elected officials not helping the people down Parkside when these are the people that put y'all in office? Why do we own?
Because those people really don't put them in for office. The people that put them in office are their donors. And that slumlord, whoever, that realtor that want to come and get these people to knock their stuff down so they could take their truck and go back there to build whatever they want to build back there, those are the people that the politicians listen to, which is why we have to create our own system. This system no longer serves the people. It has never served the people, but it's become clear that it doesn't work for the people. I mean, but look, there was a big thing that happened in Newark yesterday. I mean, it's not going to be publicized as in other communities because, hey, we're in a poor community. It happened in our community. It really don't matter. But a young kid, I believe 10 years old, and an elderly person lost their lives yesterday. You're going to get all these fake nonprofit organizations that come out here and oh my God, what are we doing? We need to do this. We need to do that. None of them are putting these institutions in the community to serve the people. They're only using the suffering of the people to get their name out there, to get credibility for themselves. But they're not here to put these institutions in the community. Tomorrow we're doing the after school program. Tuesday we're doing the after school program. Wednesday we're doing this I didn't even play all these videos. We're doing the after school program. He's going through the 10-point program. He's reading the 10-point program. We want the ability to control the destiny of the people in our community. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Like, you have to learn it at this age. Lord, bro, look at my boy right here. You see my boy? That's my boy Kendrick right there. You have to learn it at this age, that it is your responsibility to put these institutions in the community. Some of the days out of the week, we go out running. They stay fit. We're in the boxing gym. They do their homework. They get some reading in. Everything. There's a purpose for everything. There's a reason for everything. We could do this in all our communities. If we're all dedicated, we're all serious about changing our community, it doesn't have to be only the Panther Party. We can all join in building and putting these institutions in the community. If those children after school are in spaces where they're learning, where they're safe, they're not out there getting shot. They're not out there on the streets. These safe spaces can be created for every single child because we have access to every single child in our community. In the world that we live in now, everybody got to be in school. All these children are traced. They're tracked from the day that they were born. Those in power, those in these institutions have access to all of these children. But they don't care enough to put the things around them to guide them through this world. Because those children are means for them to get rich, to make their six-figure salaries. So like yesterday, about 7-something at night, there was a shooting. Six people were shot, 2 lost their life. Let me play the video.
Deadly shooting in Newark, a $10,000 reward is being offered.
Yeah, that $10,000 bounty. Now you put that $10,000 bounty out. How is that going to stop the next person from being shot? Because by and large, I have no idea what happened here. We haven't investigated. As a Panther organization, we haven't investigated. But my sociological imagination tells me this has everything to do with poverty. This stems from poverty, the failure and neglect of the politicians in power making six figures, millionaires. Their failure is what caused this.
For anyone with any information leading to an arrest, 2 people are dead, 3 others injured.
Hold on, let me go back.
Reward is being offered for any work. A $10,000 reward is being offered for anyone with.
You know who's offering that $10,000 reward? You know who's putting that bounty out? The black sheriff. It's a black sheriff here. There's a black sheriff that came out and said they're putting out a $10,000 reward, like we back in the 1800s, 1700s, where they're putting out reward for mass gunmen. And so instead of talking about the issues, the structural issues that bring things like this about, and all the fake nonprofit, all the fake organizations, everybody that's in the community that's being paid by the same politicians that's manifesting all this the social ills in our community, they're gonna come out and blame the people and blame the community and say, oh my God, why y'all can't protect your own community? Where are the black men not in the community? I say if the black men in the community control the school system. I say if the black people in the community control those children in the community. Because that's what people always say. They always say that the parents are the parents are at fault. You know, as a parent, you have no control over these children. You can't even go to school and get your child out. They will refuse to give you your child. They have more. The schools have more control over your child than you do. That's the reality we're living in. But they will blame the parents. They will blame the people. They will never try to hold the people that are being paid six figures, millions of dollars, to maintain the society. Those are not the people that are going to be held accountable.
Any information leading to an arrest. 2 people are dead, 3 others injured. This was the same yesterday. Prosecutors say police were called to Chancellor Avenue around 7 p.m. A 10-year-old and 21-year-old later died at a local hospital. Governor Murphy confirmed the news on Facebook. He says, quote, I have been updated on a shooting that took place.
He has been updated. What are he going to do? There's nothing that he could do.
He says, quote, from the news on the hospital.
Let me see. I want to show you something.
Died at a 10-year-old and 21-year-old later died at 7 p.m.
Right there. You see that? That's what the police do. Police not out here to catch no bullets. They're not out here to stop nothing. Yo, after the crime happened, after whatever happened, they come up and put some tape up. And they make money by standing out there, stopping nothing. And tomorrow the same thing is going to happen. The week after that, the month after that. Instead of putting things in the community that will stop all of this. You don't see this in rich communities. You don't see senseless violence like this. Not as much as you see in our communities. Because these are all poverty crimes. This has something to do about territory, drugs, whatever. Fighting over crumbs. Yo, it might even be over something as stupid as a female relationship. But they're so ignorant. Because they haven't been taught how to be human beings. They haven't been socialized how to be human beings. So this is the product. This is what you get. No
Take
doubt.
a kid's father away. You get a single mother who's got to work 2-3 jobs to provide. She ain't there to teach them. She ain't there to take care of them. Your neighbors are, there's that concept for building generational wealth. People understand the concept of compounding interest. You invest your money, it's growing, 7% year over year, and eventually you're just increasing that. Well, debt works the same way. Generational debt grows at that same exponential rate if we don't tackle it. And that's what happens in these impoverished black communities. It starts, it's a slippery slope that goes downhill. You get kids who grow up without the structure, and the only people who provide them protection from the shit going on around them are the gangs, so you fall into that gang. I'm speaking from an outside perspective, so tell me to shut the fuck up if you need to. But it's a generational debt and then your brothers are getting sent to prison, and I've got a boy in prison. I'm one of the few people that talks to him. He calls me, man. He told me he was in Asheville and they got moved by the hurricane. He got moved to another place. His fucking cellmate had an ingrown toenail that got infected, so they gave him surgery to remove it. They wouldn't give him bandages to change it himself. They wouldn't change it for him. It got like gangrene or something. He had to get his foot amputated. You want to know what happened to his stub when he got his foot amputated? The same goddamn thing. And he had to get his leg amputated up to the knee after that, all for an ingrown toenail because they wouldn't give him bandages that they had so that he could change it himself. You go through situations like that. It's psychological torture. And how do you come out of something like that with your humanity intact? And then you're back on the street, and now you can't get a job. So now you got to turn to crime in order to provide for yourself. And now you proliferate the same shit that impacted you as a kid and put you there. It's so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see this shit and feel like it, because I can't do anything about it. Who the fuck cares what I have to say about this stuff? I'm sitting here wanting to cry.
Nah. You see, but that's what we're here to do. We can do something about it. Nah, that's what the first step in being a revolutionary, and revolutionary means changing how society functions, is to be educated. You are doing something about it. Now, I mean, don't ever think that. If you're going to these classes, if you're learning, doing all this studying, the first step is learning. Then the second step is putting this thing into practice. Now, I mean, so first we learn, and then we put it to practice. And without this, without what you're doing right now, everything else is hopeless. Because if you don't know, remember the first clip I played was Fred Hampton saying if you don't have no political education, you're going to become the imperialist your damn self. That's what Fred Hampton was saying. So you are doing something. I mean, you are doing by learning. And you said that we went yesterday to go pick up, my little brother got out of prison. So we went to go pick him up. And when we got there was an older gentleman there that did 23 years. It's cold outside. It's wintertime. They let both of them walk out of there with a button-up shirt on and some pants and some sneakers on. He walked out of there. There was nobody to greet him. He didn't even know how he was going to get to Penn Station to catch a train to wherever he had to go check in at, because now he's homeless. So 23 years ago he went in. And 23 years later he comes out. There's no place to stay. You got to go to the shelter. Like, you don't even have the ability to get where you're going. How do you get there? What kind of society, what kind of system creates people like this? It's a system that needs to be thrown in the garbage, in the dustbin of history. And it takes knowing first. It takes educating yourself first for us to understand what we need to do to get rid of the system. I mean, and like I said, you going to get weapons, talking about you're going to go fight against this person, fight against that person. You're being reactionary, you're being miseducated, and you don't understand the first step in being a revolutionary. The first step is building the cadre. Because let me tell you this, after you put the institutions in place, after you built what we need to do to survive in our communities, they're going to come after you. Imperialism cannot just stay there and allow all these people to walk away from them. Then it's when you get ready to fight back to maintain what you have. But you don't go into talking about your fight. Who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? What weapons do you have to fight them? The first weapon is the mind. If the people are not even trained in the mind to fight, who are you fighting? And that's why when I see this group, all these people talking about weapons, talking about we ready to go in the streets, when you ready to have the revolution, call me when we ready to go do the shoot. Man, you sound stupid. You sound like you don't really want to do the work that it takes to change society. It seems like you're playing comic book stuff. And that's not what we're here doing. We're here to change the conditions on the ground by doing the work. I mean, but yeah, that's our show for this week, man. If anybody got anything, I mean, let me know. But look, like let me play some of this videos.
Okay.
No, come on,
Thank you very much.
Do it.
I appreciate it. To the Black Panther.
All power to the people, brother.
Now I'm about to stop sharing.
Go.
You already know much. You
already know.
You feel me, big brother? I mean, appreciate you, man.
You good? You ready? We got it.
That's what God see. You got to connect them. You got to make them mad.
Yeah, but like when you go into these communities to go bring them this food, talking about, this is when they say they cut the SNAP benefits. You go down to the community to give them this food. Yo, that's how you talk to them. They're receptive to talk to you. I learned this from Pantherism, from UEP Newton, from Fred Hampton. When you helping people eat, now you can talk to them, but you can't go to people just try to start brainwashing people, start talking this back to Africa stuff. Everybody looking at you like you crazy. But when they see you bringing them food, you're bringing their family food. They see you educating their children, got the after-school program, got the sports program. Yo, this week, it's a few people that went to court. General Secretary going to court with them. It's a few people that had to do their housing. General Secretary doing the housing with them. These children, every day they get out of school, Captain Patience is there. The captain is there with them to work with them after school, to feed them at the after-school program, to help them with their homework. Yo, this is how you organize on the ground level. When they say grassroots, this is grassroots. I mean, when you see people coming around talking about Black Lives Matter, they're talking about all these NGO groups that are funded by the government. These are not revolutionary organizations. These are just COINTELPRO organizations that's put in the community to bamboozle and hoodwink the people. The Urban League. You never see none of these people in the community. You don't see them feeding the people. And when they do, they're getting their money from the government. They're not using their own money. I mean, but like we are not like any of this charity organization or this fake organization in the community that say they're fighting for the people, but you never see them feeding the people. You never see them housing the people. All you see them doing is marching and demanding Massa pass a law for the people. Massa is never going to pass a law to help the people out. I mean, so if anybody want to chime in, you want to take over here, General Secretary? Nah, you don't want to take over. Yo, anybody want to chime in? I mean, because if not, you still got your hand up, Shay. I got you. I'm gonna come to you, Megabyte. Yo, anybody want to chime in? Going once? I mean, because I'm gonna go back to Megabyte. Hey, Rod, you there, Rod?
I'm here, Africa.
How you doing, Hot Rod?
I'm good. I've been listening to the whole thing.
Oh, Pa, I know you've been here. I'm looking because I thought Shuby was here. Shuby was here a minute ago. Hey, Shuby, you still here? I don't see him no more. You don't see him no more, right? Nah, that's cool. Go ahead, Megabyte. What you got, Megabyte?
I want to tell you guys, you ain't invisible, right? I found you.
Oh,
I'm not the only one out there that wants to help in ways that I can. The problem is, I'm from a suburban, it's all rural when my family moved here 25 years ago, but it's suburban now. But there aren't the need for the community programs in my community. We have the resources to help to an extent. Impoverished. We got a good school system out here. We don't need to do the same kind of work you guys need to do for your communities, but we have the people who want to do something and they have no connection to know how. They've got different skill sets than y'all have. Because y'all guys, when you went to go get your college education, you didn't go become an engineer. You didn't get a computer science degree where you can whip up different systems that enable you to proliferate your educational tools. But I did. I went and got a computer science education. I'm a programmer. I'm in touch with techies. I went to Silicon Valley and raised money from the VC firms. I know how to do that. And I'm going to help, and I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to help lead other people to you who have the ability to help. And I want, as a general secretary, we should connect when you have some time. I'm not going to fix your YouTube channel for you. I'm going to show you how to figure out how to do it yourself. And when I show you how to do that, you're going to have a power of learning and teaching that you can share and spread. And this shit will spread like wildfire faster than the stuff you all been doing for decades. Right? Because you guys held on to a revolutionary spirit that was, the system tried to stamp out, and you held on to it, and it exists today. And now The internet gives everybody a voice. I'll share some of my culture with you. If y'all want to do some studying about the folks from my culture that inspire me to be revolutionary, there's a documentary called The Internet's Own Boy about Aaron Swartz. He was one of the co-founders of Reddit, is where he gets a lot of his fame, and he is one of the central figures that saved the free internet back in like 2012, 2013 when we had SOPA and PIPA. And they were going to stamp out the free internet. It was under the Obama administration. It had widespread support for it in Congress. And he organized a tool that enabled people to contact their Congress people en masse and flood them and overwhelm the system to show that the people did not support these. And it got such overwhelming support that Congress flipped almost overnight, turned against the bill and shut it down. He didn't even think it was going to work. He just wanted to make a statement. But because people believed in what he was doing, he was able to flip Congress on the matter and save the free internet as we know it today, which enables me to do some of the shit that I'm planning to do. I couldn't do it if they were able to control the internet the way that they were trying to do. So he is a revolutionary figure. You might not connect with him in his past, but he ended up committing suicide because the FBI was going after him because he tried to provide access to academic papers, which are publicly funded. We pay our taxes. Taxes give that money to education systems that pay researchers to write these academic papers, and then they get locked behind paywalls where your average person cannot access them. So he was using university access to download all these academic papers so that he could release them to the people, right? And after he got used as an example by the FBI, they railroaded him. They were going to lock him up for 40 years in prison. He committed suicide instead. And just within the year, that same year that he committed suicide, a 14-year-old kid accessed those academic paper institutions. And a 14-year-old kid discovered a early detection for pancreatic cancer, which is one of the deadliest forms of cancer because you typically detect it way too late to do anything about it. The same kind of cancer that killed Steve Jobs. It's his own story because he actually could have cured his and tried to juice cleanse it away. But my aunt, during the pandemic, I took care of my grandma who had 2 types of cancer through her end of life. The same day we put her on hospice, my aunt was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she is a survivor today. The survival rate for women over 50 for pancreatic cancer is below 5%, but she is a survivor because of early detection.
All power to the people. But like you said something like you're going to teach us. Once you graduate from that political education class, I told you, we by and large follow the teachings of Fred Hampton. Once you graduate from the political education class, we want you to take that over. We were into you're gonna teach, you're gonna train other people. That's gonna be, but your talents, what you know, the things that you know, we want you to bring that to the table. Just like my talent is sociology. Like I went to school to understand sociology and history. I'll bring that to the table. I work at the after-school program. When you come in, even you in Detroit, it don't matter where you at. We're in a world where we can be connected all over, and I'm quite sure there are communities around there where you're at that need your effort. We need you to create it. Listen to this part. Once you graduate, we want you to create your own party right over there. We want you to be the leader for party over there. The people that you bring in, all those people, they're going to be working with you to provide for people over there. That's what we call intercommunalism. But I'm telling you, man, we have so much possibilities. It's up to us. Rodrigo, you wanted to say something?
Mic check.
Mic check. One second, CEO. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
We got a 2:30 training class, but I just want to say it. That's all. Okay.
Oh, 2:30. Hey, we got to wrap up, Rodrigo.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. No, Rodrigo can say something real quick, and then we got to go because we got our people tuning in. Okay, thank you, brother.
Right, go ahead, Rodrigo.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We could keep it moving towards.
All right. All power to the people. Hey, till next Sunday. I hope you get all power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people.
Power to the people, and hey, let's connect when you get time, Chairman. Still waiting. I got shit to share.
No. I'm gonna hit you, y'all supposed to hit you this week. I'm putting you on the schedule, man. I'm gonna hit you ASAP. I'm gonna text you and then call me if you free. You heard?
Absolutely. Get that app. Get that app for me, man.
Got you. All power to the people.